o'clock in the Interboro for Fillies and Mares is the feature. Betsy Blue is the odds-on deserved favorite. She's been on a tear. 3 wins her last 5 starts. Connections hope today is a stepping stone to bigger and better things in the near future. Over in Hot Springs, Arkansas at Oaklawn Park, Fillies and Mares are also featured sprinting in the American Beauty. Sarah Harper's the morning line favorite. Can she put an end to a 5-race winless streak? Pick up her first trip to the winner's circle since early January of last year. We'll also be joined by one of the top riders and great personalities on the New York circuit. Jockey Kendrick Carmouche sits down for a visit at the conclusion of the Aqueduct card. All that and more coming up on this Saturday edition of America's Day at the Races. It's brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Great to have you on our FS2 coverage on this Saturday afternoon here at South Ozone Park, New York. Greg Wolf alongside New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. Fun card this afternoon, and we'll see for Betsy Blue. They're thinking graded stakes in the very near future for her.
How can they not? I mean, it's really interesting. She's always been an incredible, consistent performer, but she never ran really fast races till all of a sudden in Saratoga, she just sort of blossomed this summer and started running extremely fast races. Now, a lot of us like it in Saratoga. And sometimes it extends to the horses, and you thought maybe she just loved being in Saratoga and she'd come here and regress, but she hasn't. She's been absolutely terrific, and Linda Rice is talking, not surprisingly, assuming things go well today, to Barbara Fritchie, graded stake at Laurel, Maryland next month, and even the distaff here in early April.
Yeah, grade 3 as well. It's our ABR race of the week, the Interboro, race 8 on today's card. Maybe if there's a little knock against Betsy Blue, maybe the 7 furlongs. Linda Rice has said she's not worried about it. It's probably not her best, but she thinks she can handle it fine. She's 3-5 against this group.
Yeah, I mean, I think the funny thing about distance is, you know, when you first get in the game, you think if you have a horse that closes, well, the longer they go, the better it should be with them. They'll just keep on running, but the game is funny that way, and a lot of things are counterintuitive. I don't think 7 furlongs is really a problem for her, and I don't think Linda does either, but with her move, sometimes it's accentuated in slightly shorter races.
She is 3 for 5, though, at the distance. She comes in off a win in the Garland of Roses. This was fun to watch, coming from well off the pace, further than she usually comes.
It wasn't fun if, like me, you bet Burgoyne, the horse in the pink silks, but apparently for you it was really fun. But it is amazing. You watch that race. You wouldn't have taken a lot of money on her at the 8th pole. The winner looked like she was going very well, and the winner was coming off a triple-digit buyer effort. A very, very promising horse. And Betsy Blue just ran her down in the late stages. She's a terrific, consistent performer as well. I picked against her today because I have an idea of a horse and a price, but by no means do I not realize she's way the horse to beat. 16 of her 20 lifetime starts. She's been first or second. She's going to be the odds-on favorite in that feature later today. We look forward to it in that Interboro. Let's take a look at what's ahead. Presented by Claiborne Farm. So races 6 through 9, pick 4 in New York. It's a fast main track. Oaklawn, check in with Paula Duca in a little bit. They are fast in Hot Springs. Races 4 through 10 to come, including that American Beauty. Part of that actually kicks off that late pick 5. And some bonus coverage from Oldsmar, Florida, Tampa Bay. We'll have races 8 and 9 coming up. You can get signed up, started, play all the action on today's program with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Get a $200 deposit match sign-up bonus when new members punch in this code right here, match 200 at sign-up. Again at nairabets.com. So good luck to everybody playing this afternoon. Pick 4, I should say. Beginning in race 6 here coming up. 6 furlong sprint, $12,000 starter allowance. Oh, trouble right now, the 2. 2 wins the last 3 starts. I thought this race was wide open. What did you think? I don't love Trouble at all in here. I thought he beat a very weak field last time. I'm interested in the 3 Lost in Rome. I think Durkin's Call might be the horse to beat in here. The odds are going to change. Quick Return is not going to stay that big price at 8-1 now. But I think to agree with you, I think there's more than just a couple of contenders in here.
12 minutes away. Race that's going to kick off the late pick 4. We'll have the post parade for you when we come back. Stay with us. Just getting started here on America's Day at the Races on our Saturday FS2 coverage. We'll be back.
DeMarchelier offers breeders a rare opportunity as the only son of Dubawi standing in Kentucky. Dubawi, one of the world's most celebrated stallions, is now a sire of sires. His top sons at stud are making a name for themselves across the globe. With a picture-perfect pedigree, this son of Dubawi brings one of the world's most potent bloodlines to America. DeMarchelier, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back with you here on America's Day at the Races on our Saturday coverage. It's brought to you in part by legendary Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Race 6, 6-furlong sprint to start this pick 4. $12,000 starter allowance, and that is a look at the 6. Durkin's Call, Charlie Baker, Dylan Davis going to team up on a 6-time winner. Let's check in downstairs for more with Maggie Wolfendale. Hi, Maggie.
Hey, Greg, and we'll see. Can Charlie Baker go back-to-back as he just took the 5th race as well here with Durkin's Call, whom, just at point blank, looking at these horses as they filed into the paddock here, I thought he looked best. And furthermore, he's one that I didn't mind on paper either, as 2 back in that state bred 25 for start for Charlie, or should I say, first start, second time around, as he is a reclaim for him. He kind of tracked and chased the winner home that day in gemography, and then last time in against arguably tougher, he did take a lot of kickback, and he never really gave up despite losing by 6.5 lengths. The 3 horses that finished in front of him, they were completely clean over that sloppy track, and I do think it is sometimes tough for horses to run through that, but overall, he just looks like a happy, healthy horse, and in this spot, I think he does make a great deal of sense, and the board would agree, as he is co-favored at the moment. As we'll take a look at number 8, Cash Now. If you want a little bit of a price, I thought this guy was kind of interesting here, as when we saw him drop in last time for the 25, he showed up that day, and yeah, he was beaten by Oh Trouble, but it seemed as though that the pace kind of didn't really fall apart, but it did come back a bit. And he was one of the horses on the front end that lasted best of any of those. And No Trouble, he actually did have some trouble around the turn, but he scooted up the rail and kind of capitalized on things coming back to him a bit. Now, the start, I wasn't here for that last effort, but the 2 starts prior to that, this was a horse who would come in so nervous. He'd be completely washed out and just not making the best of impressions. Well, I don't know if he was like that last time, but today at least, he's really calm, really collected, not hot and washy. He's gotten a nice haircut since the last time I saw him, and he just looks really well muscled and strong, and I just feel like he can play at this level as opposed to those tougher optional allowance races for open company. As horses are tacked here, Greg, it is an interesting field.
Yeah, I mean, even Cash Now, I thought interesting runner. He's getting a rematch with Oh Trouble coming up. He's 14-1, pick 4 pool, 71,000 and growing. You can follow along in the program, get the stats on all the horses, jockeys, and trainers with free Equibase past performances. Go to NYRA.com/TV schedule and download those free PPs. And there's young Jose Gomez just left our screen. He's going to be on the 2, O'Trouble, who is the current 5-2 favorite. There's the one he'll ride coming up as he looks to go back-to-back. Gomez here on a horse who is in very sharp form right now at 3-1. We're going to look back to his last, or 2 back, I should say. He's from the mud at 7/8 of a mile against Lost in Rome, who beat him.
Well, that's why I wanted to show it. I know right now they're similar prices, but Lost in Rome is a much bigger price in multi-race bets, and just 2 races back, Lost in Rome got the best of them. I don't really know why he should be an overwhelming favorite against this field. I think Lost in Rome, who I picked, can beat him. I think Durkin's Call. I believe Durkin's Call might be the horse to beat in this race, oddly. And O'Trouble's okay, but that was a very soft field he beat last time with an absolute dream trip coming up the rail. I mean, the rail opened like the Red Sea. He's okay. I just thought there were better horses. Now, he's 3-1 now. He's not likely to end that price. I just thought he might be a little bit shorter, though, to be honest with you, I don't think he ends up favored. But I don't have a problem with Durkin's Call being favored here. I actually think he should be favored.
Well, here is the horse that just beat him in the race we showed you, Lost in Rome, who had put together back-to-back wins, came out of that race. They stepped him up to a mile in the slop in a much tougher group.
Yeah, I mean, his last race was a ridiculous spot compared to this. And I'll be honest, he didn't run that badly in there. It's not like he, I think you have to look at horse performance when they lose by a bunch. How did they run? Were they just sitting 10 legs behind the whole way and they never made a move? This horse was engaged in a pretty honest pace right there against some very, very good horses. So I don't have any problem with his last race at all. At the end of the day, this horse is in raging form. And he has good back form to get to. So it's not like he came out of nowhere.
4-1 right now on Lost in Rome. Heeman Harkey will be aboard. He was aboard for those back-to-back wins as well. As we take a look at Quick Return, who also owns a win over O'Trouble.
I'm surprised he's this price. He's co-favorite or second choice in the doubles. He'll likely come down. But he also finished behind Durkin's Call last time, a race he was claimed out of by Antonio Arriaga, who does well off the claim.
Well, O'Trouble came off that near beat against Lost in Rome. He came back and won.
He's okay. I don't have a real problem with him. I just didn't want him what I expected to be a much shorter price.
4-1, much easier than what he faced last time, as we talked about with the 3. And here's Alarm Clock.
Filly against the boys here. She's in a tough spot, but she's in good form. I'll give her that.
Yes, sir. Robert, interesting coming in from Maryland, Charlestown last start.
Yeah, I mean, this horse is, not only is he cutting back from a mile 16 to 6 furlong, he's cutting back in turns from 3 to 2. I think it's 3, could be 4.
Here's the favorite, Durkin's Call, 5-2, Charlie Baker, Dylan Davis.
Well, Tom may not be calling anymore, but Durkin's Call is representing him well, and he's in very good form.
Poppy's Pride, 13-1, Jason Huas will ride.
One thing you know, this horse will be aggressively ridden. Jason Huas, he rides him out of the gate.
Good figure last start. That was against easier, though. And then Cash Now outside, 12-1.
Well, this horse did finish second to O'Trouble last time, and I think if you look at his recent races, to me, his dirt races, it highlights how weak that field was.
4 minutes away. 6th here in New York. It's the start of the Pick 4, 87,000 and growing. You can also get involved without risking any of your own money. You're competing for real prizes as well. Punch in your selections to the Showdown contest. Hopefully see your name on that leaderboard at the end of the program as well. Go to naira.com/showdown to get involved. All right, so let's take a look now at, this is your favorite, Durkin's Call, Charlie Baker again. We mentioned looking to go back-to-back. 3 starts back. That was at a mile at Aqueduct.
He's never won going 6 furlongs, but I see a lot of mitigating circumstances in that. And I think in his current form, he fits very, very well here. This is his second place finish with Quick Return running third. Gemography was like a they knew, and a very logical horse in there, and he's been in extremely good form in his recent races, and he just had to chase that one around the track, but I thought he ran a very respectable race, especially moving up off his prior race. And then last time out, they're just better horses in the slop that he faced. I just think he makes a lot of sense in here. I don't have any problem, and I understand why the public's betting him now. He probably drifts up to the second or third choice by post time, though.
Looks like his game face is on there. 5-2. Dylan Davis again will be aboard. 6-time winner. This is going to be his 50th career start coming up.
He's been around for a long time. He's making Tom proud.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm sorry that somebody didn't name. I'm sorry he didn't race when Tom. It would have been funny if he was running when Tom was calling, right? He could have. I bet you Tom would have had a lot of fun with that. He would have been partly embarrassed, but he also would have found a way to have good fun with it.
Let's head back down to Maggie.
Durkin's Call, as you guys were mentioning, it's kind of a nice way to still kind of pay homage to Tom Durkin and his brilliant race calls that are so missed around the racetrack. But he just continued to be my overwhelming pick in here. We'll see. He has gone to slight favoritism right now at 5-2. But let's check in with the horse that he's battling at least on the tote board, and that's number 2, Oh Trouble. Did get a very aggressive warm-up. You know, we didn't see him make it to the lead last time as he broke from a same post position he will today. But he did kind of get things his own way. He looks good. I have no problems with him. I just preferred preferred Durkin's Call over him. Let's talk about the filly, who's, I don't necessarily think she's fast enough on paper here, but I often like to look at how these fillies stack up physically against their male counterparts, and honestly, she does. Alarm Clock does match up well with the boys. You know, she's bigger. She's got a lot of substance to her. It looks as though she's doing very well at this point in time, and she's fairly sharp for a filly who has, in the last 2 starts, shown the ability to be up close. Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. Approaching 120,000 in this pick 4. Price finally starting to come down a little bit. Quick return was 5-2 morning line. I think we saw 7-1 at one point.
9-1 when we opened.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he's the second choice in the doubles, but it's very close. It's not a huge margin. The CAW pools, the doubles are often different. I mean, the first winner today paid $10 was probably closer to 2-1 or 5-2 in the doubles.
He was sensational at Saratoga last summer.
He was very good in Saratoga. He had a huge win up there, and obviously he'd win off that effort. But he's a little bit unreliable, and he was easily, third best behind a race where Durkin's Call beat him last time. That's not to say he can't win here. And Antonio Arriaga is one of those guys that you have to follow New York race and be familiar with, because he really only runs horses here. But he very quietly does a good job with the few horses he has, and he's a very dangerous guy off the claim. There's nothing to say that this horse can't win the race. He's a little bit unreliable. He goes through some form cycles, but his race 3 back and his race in Saratoga would be too much for this field to handle.
2 wins this summer, Saratoga. But yeah, that second one noticeably just dominated, among others, Oh Trouble in that group. He won by 6 3/4 lengths. 4-1 now with Jose Lezcano.
But I think the odds board also reflects something that you and I felt about this race looking at it. There are 4 major contenders, the 1, 2, 3, and 6. Not to say that others can't win. We certainly see horses win at bigger prices sometimes. But in my opinion, and I think you agree with me, this was never a dichotomous race where there was an overwhelming favorite and one other horse in here. Sometimes the next race, for instance, there's 2 horses that are going to take the bulk of the play. It doesn't mean they'll win, but they're clearly the right 2. This race, it's a little bit murky, and at the end of the day, they're starter allowances, horses that have run at lower level claiming prices. They're not the most reliable of horses.
I thought 6 of the 8 could win, and really nobody would surprise me.
Listen, if you have those opinions, you have to focus in on trying to make money with the 2 that aren't. I assume the 2 of them aren't the 4 horses getting bet, and you try to make money if 1 or 2 of those, one of those horses can be second or third even, because the name of the game is making money. There's a lot of glory in picking big price horses that win, but if you get a 15-1 shot to finish second to a logical horse and you hit the exacta, there's a lot of glory in getting cash. Much more glory in getting cash than having those moral victories where you like a 20-1 shot that runs really well but loses by a half length.
Too many of those.
No moral victories. Moral victories, they may be great when you first get in the game, but they aren't great when you're betting your money and you've been around a long time.
Pick 4, it starts here. Back to favoritism for the 2, Oh Trouble. David Jacobson off the claim. This horse has been popular in the claim box. It's got Jose Gomez, the apprentice, aboard, looking to go back-to-back. Let's go upstairs. Chris Griffin, the call.
All in line. All set. And they're off. Cash Now's got early speed from the outside with Oh Trouble. They're going to be 1-2, and tightly at the rail is going to be Quick Return 3 across the racetrack now. But Cash Now will clear off, and Eric Cancel is up by a full length. Poppy's Pride is in gear, is up on the outside now, challenges and takes that second position away. It's an action-packed first quarter. Alarm Clock is going to track into the 5th spot. Further back in the field, there's Lost in Rome, who gets passed by Yes Sir Robert and the early trailer. Durkin's Call, less than a half mile to go. 23 seconds flat for a pressured opening quarter. Here's Cash Now, still with a neck in front. front. Poppy's Pride, the big long shot, is right there in second. Is there room at the rail here for quick return? And Jose Lescano is trying to get to that spot and does, with O Trouble, who goes right with that rival. In a flash, O Trouble has now put a neck in front of Quick Return as they both got to that spot, but O Trouble is now kicked on. From the back, Durkin's Call. Green Cap has made up a lot of ground with a ground-saving trip. It's O Trouble who's got the lead, is up by 2.5 lengths. Durkin's Call is in full pursuit out in the center of the racetrack. Here comes the run from Alarm Clock on the grandstand side. Yes, sir, Robert. A final eighth of a mile to go. O Trouble, Jose Gomez almost there. They've got to hold off Durkin's Call, who's getting closer, but running out of time. O Trouble, Durkin's Call, O Trouble, Jose Gomez, back to back. Durkin's Call for second, Alarm Clock, then Quick Return in 1 minute 12.09 seconds.
Back to back for the apprentice Jose Gomez. This horse was in a tough spot early on in this race and then just powers away.
I don't know what O Trouble will show up next time, but the O Trouble that showed up today was never losing this race. And, you know, one of the things David Jacobson, he's always been a trainer that's a little tough to get a handle on, because sometimes his horses will run exceptionally well, as this horse did off the claim, and sometimes not as well. This horse ran a huge race today, and a very, very good ride on the number 6 horse by Dylan Davis. He couldn't have ridden Durkin's Call any better, and the pace was contentious. He's not a win machine, you know, he's a 6 for 49er. But he wasn't beating O Trouble. He ran a winning race, Durkin's Call. He just wasn't beating a horse that was revved up and ready to go today.
In the end, he got bet back down to favoritism in here. O Trouble, that's the 6th win of his career. He is now 5 for 9. Never been off the board at Aqueduct.
Well, he was ready to roll today, and he's in good form.
Extremely sharp performance. And now 3 wins in his last 4 outings. His only defeat beat a neck in that race we showed you against Lost in Rome. Sharp form, 2-6, 4-1. With the favorite kicking off the late pick 4. We're going to head over to Hot Springs. Coming up, we'll have these prices for you in New York in a moment. Oaklawn card, again, fillies and mares sprinting that American Beauty, their feature later today. That's going to kick off that late pick 5, this 4th race. Allowance, non-winners at 2 life, 6 furlong sprint coming up. And in a moment, we'll see Adeline Julia for Robertino Diodoro. And here she is at 5-2.
I don't know what to do with this horse, who ran okay first time for Nacho Correas. Big improvement second time out for Diodoro off the claim, but it was in a muddy track. And I hate horses that improve a lot in a muddy track. You don't have enough to go on.
Pioneer Parade just ran 3rd, going 5.5 furlongs.
Yeah, I think this horse would have to improve substantially, and I don't see it.
Comedy Act cutting back, does have sprint speed, though.
Yeah, this is a trainer. You know what this trainer's record, Randy Morris? He's 1 for 45 turning back at Oaklawn over the last 45 years. Unreal, huh?
Wow. Hypersport, 9-5 favorite, Ingrid Mason trains.
If it was a more highly known name than Ingrid Mason, couldn't this horse be 4-5 in here?
Second to Pretty Birdie.
I thought this horse on paper was almost a cinch.
Dance at 6-1. Steve Asmus and Ricardo Santana Jr.
This is a horse that once looked like he had a little bit of promise. I don't know what went wrong last time, but it was a sealed track off the layoff.
This one just claimed. Randy Morse claims, cuts back.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, once again, Randy Morse the cutback. He could be 1 for 47 in this race. Yeah. He has 2 chances, or 2 for 47.
Can Cutie. Al Cates, Kelsey Har, 17-1.
Name just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Delta Downs coming off a maiden win there. And then Can't Believe It, 3-1 morning line, 9-2 right now. More speed outside.
Doesn't this horse feel like the speed of the speed? I mean, I'm not in love with him, but I thought, or her, excuse me, I thought she was okay.
Very quick. 9-2 right now. 4th race from Oaklawn. Our first from Hot Springs today for you. Let's check in live with Paula Duca for more.
Thanks, Greg. Yeah, first race here from Hot Springs so far in race number 4 here. The first 3 races, we've had some favorites so far. Actually, Kim Poole almost pulled off another Edsa. He had another 20-1 shot, just missed in the first race. With Rocco Bowen aboard, his horses are firing. On to race number 4. Don't forget 10 race card today, so you're going to get the pick 5 will start in race number 6. You know, when you look at the one in here, Adeline Julia, you know, her last race, I get it. She was 50 cents on the dollar. It was over a muddy racetrack. Just the way she kind of finished up, you know, she was kind of rating a little bit behind the front runner, just took over in the stretch, and then just kept on widening and widening. What I do love is at the end of that race, her ears were straight up in the air, asking for a little bit more. Now, I always say this, it's really tough to face winners first time after you win your maiden. And, you know, she draws the one hole, so she can have to push from out of there. She does look like she has a little bit of rateability in here, and I think she's the filly to beat. Now, the 4-horse in here, I thought obviously is one of the horses in here in Hypersport for Gabriel Saez and Ingrid Mason. But, you know, this is a horse that did show a lot of promise. Won the maiden here at Oaklawn, has just been battling a lot better horses, and has been running very well. So the 4 obviously is a contender in here. I thought the 5, Dance It, looked very, very well on the racetrack. I think if you just throw out that good race last time at Fairgrounds, I think this horse is going to run a big race. Taking money right now at 6-1. So I'm not in love with the 4. I think the 1 could come right back. I'm not a big fan of picking horses against, you know, winners for the first time, but Robertina Diodoro is on fire. So I'll probably go 1-5 in here and try to beat the 4.
All right, Paulie, good to hear from you. Trying to beat the 7-5 favorite, and this is one of the fillies he will use, a Tappet filly. She went for $500,000 when she was told she took 3 tries to break her maiden. She did it sprinting at Churchill back in June.
One thing you can't say about Mandy Pope, she isn't willing to spend her money. She will spend a lot of money, and it's interesting with this horse. They tried the horse going long. You know, it's reminiscent of these Tappets, and I understand, but it turned out that they got it wrong. The Tappet who wanted to go shorter. The horse that she beat, Dorothea, came back and improved her figure a point, makes that race very legitimate when she broke her maiden. It was a sealed track last time. She was down the inside. Maybe it just didn't really work out. I don't know. And she is kind of the fuzzy in this race, getting back to a harrowed dry track, right? I'm not big on thinking that wet tracks matter that much for horse performance. There are some horses that'll like it or not like it, but I do believe there are some horses that are not comfortable on sealed tracks. I think there is a difference, you know, between a wet harrowed track and a wet sealed track.
Okay.
It's just me personally. I feel like there's some horses that will flounder in sealed tracks. Many horses are fine in them, but it's very much, I think, a safety issue with them. But there are some horses who just don't like it.
Well, another one who was a muddy sealed track, that was Adeline Julia, the 1. Yep. And she had that big move forward, start number 2.
But it was also first time Diodoro, right? So maybe she's just a horse that improved a lot for Diodoro's second time out. But as I think you'll agree, that maiden win to a winner's race, that's a big move.
All right, we'll get back to that 4th at Oaklawn in a moment. Oh, trouble. That's a huge performance from a 6-year-old who is in the form of his life right now.
He ran a huge race, and as well as he ran, there's a maiden earlier in the card, a New York bred maiden 25, the one by 21 lengths. They ran 0.7 seconds faster than he did.
Wow.
And this horse ran. I mean, this is because not only did he easily hold off the second place finisher, Durgan's Call, but it was a city block back to the rest of the field. I mean, this race feels, this is one of those races he got an 85 buyer last time, when your first inclination would be to say he got a better number today, right? He really ran. I mean, Durgan's Call probably ran in the low to mid 80s, and he probably ran an 87 or so. That would make the first winner, if you play it on straight face value, of maybe in the mid to high 90s.
He's won 6 times. 4 of those 6 wins have come since July of last year in his last, 5 starts?
He was original. I want to say he started his career with Tony Dutrow. I know he was claimed from down the page. I think that Tony was his original trainer. I feel like he started out his career like he was going to be a good one. And it's just taken him a while. And even those were lower level races, he's in good form.
Back to Oaklawn. So this 4th coming up now, even more money to Hypersport.
I think the value in here is the 9. I believe Hypersport is very much the horse to beat, but I think Can't Believe It is dangerous in here because I believe Can't Believe It is supposed to be able to clear the lead and is fast enough to win this race.
Tyler Bays will be aboard there. Outside speed. And as you said, might be the speed of the speed. Yeah, I mean, there's those 2 inside. They're not slow. Obviously, yeah, I'm with you. 21-3 opening quarter last time out.
Yeah, I just
been hanging around late.
I mean, I don't even think, I thought this horse ran fine last time out. The horse that beat him is okay, Rockstar Parking. We know Sue and Old Michigan is okay, a New York bred that finished 3rd in there. I don't love the horse. I just think, about 4-1. You never know. Might be 4-1 now and win and pay $7 because we do see some late pumps there.
Well, Hypersport the 4 been favored throughout. Gabriel Saez will be aboard. There's Comedy Act stepping in. One of 2 in here for trainer Randy Morris. As Andy told you, it's not been a big move for him. Cutting back in distance, he has that one. He has the 6th as well, Byzantine. He just claimed going back to a sprint. Vic Stauffer with the call. Here's race 4 from Oaklawn.
They're at the post. Can't believe it. Very fractious. They're off. Pioneer Parade, Hyper Sport, Can't Believe It, and Adeline Julia. These 4 are quickest. Then comes Comedy Act and Dance It, followed by Can Cutie, and the trailer is Byzantine. Pioneer Parade up the backstretch with Hyper Sport in second, and Adeline Julia on the move at the rail in third. Tight spot for her. Can't Believe It is 3 deep in fourth and about 2 from the front and a length in front of Comedy Act. Dance It is the gray with 5 lengths to make up. She's a length in front of Can Cutie, and the trailer is Byzantine, and the leader is Pioneer Parade. Pioneer Parade and Hypersport. Hypersport making her move for the front, and these 2 now match strides. A length in front of Can't Believe It, Adeline Julia, and Comedy Act. Dance It is moving in the center. She's 4 wide, but on the move. 4 back to Byzantine, top of the stretch. Hypersport has put away Pioneer Parade. Now charging in the center is Can't Believe It, and further out Dance It. Between horses, Comedy Act, Hypersport in front. Adeline Julia trying to run her down. There's 4 chasing Hypersport to the 16th pole. Adeline Julia moves through at the rail, might have her. Hypersport, Adeline Julia, Adeline Julia. Adeline Julia beat Hypersport. Comedy Act was 3rd. Can't Believe It finished 4th.
Adeline Julia re-rallies, gets by Hypersport, down on the fence for the win with Christian Torres for Robertino Diodoro.
I feel sorry for poor Hypersport, but a terrific ride by Torres as well, and this horse is now 2 for 2 for Robertino Diodoro. He's about, 10 shy of 4,000 now? He won his 3,000s about 2 weeks ago, and I think he's ranging up on 3,100. It feels like we've been calling his name so often. Gets the job done. Give her the credit and give the rider all the credit as well. Man, is that a tough beat for Hypersport. I mean, she just did all of the running, and you think about it, the rider tried something different with the 9 to Raider. It didn't work out. Hopefully they'll go back to the right tactics. She wasn't winning on the front end anyway. You can't knock them. It really felt like Dance It was making a run, like she was the right one around the turn.
5.
And she just flattened out badly in the stretch.
1-4-3 finish there, still to come at Aqueduct. Going to be visited by Kendrick Carmouche. Will be sitting down with us first. He's got a mount on excellent timing. This 7 coming up in the next race. Rob Atras trains. He is quick, likes to be forward. Try and turn the tables on Big Engine, who got the better of him 2 starts ago. 2-1 favorite right now. Stay with us. Kendrick still joining us a little bit later on.
Clariere on the outside. They're coming to the finish, and it's going to be Clariere. Nest, much the best. She won by better than 10 lengths. Cody's Wish on the outside. Cody's Wish with the upset in the Fargo. Malathot grabs the lead in deep stretch, and Malathot has won the personal ensign stakes.
Curling, the classic sire.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
It's a domineering display by the ultra-talented McKenzie. McKenzie in a dominant performance.
300 won't do it. 300,000. 275, you give 275,000. 75, but to get 75, 275,000. 250, I'm Ralph now, 250,000. You're able to get $200,000.
Tampa Bay Downs has a rich thoroughbred horse racing history in Florida dating back to 1926. Celebrities such as Babe Ruth, Jack Dempsey, and John Ringling all attended opening day. Saturday, January 14th is Skyway Festival Day. Watch talented 3-year-olds compete in 2 $125,000 stakes races, the Pasco for Colts and Geldings and the Gasparilla for Fillies. Featuring full fields, great turf track racing, and a 15% takeout on RPIC 5, Tampa Bay Downs has live racing every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage. Thanks for spending part of your Saturday afternoon with us. We have race 7 next here in New York. 7/8 of a mile. It is a New York bred allowance optional claiming field. And who, that's me. Jorge Abreu trains. Dylan Davis rides. Blinkers come off today. Major player, second choice on the board.
I think you have to ask yourself how you feel about the last race, because he broke a step slow. He did get bumped, no doubt about it. But he was awful in there. Now, did the bump really take him out of his game? Did he react badly to the blinkers that they're taking off? All possibilities, but he still was 4 to 5, and he did not run well. And he lost badly at Excellent Timing, who really ran well in defeat and is supposed to be the controlling speed in this race. I think Excellent Timing is a more likely winner, but I can understand if you want to make excuses for him.
Now let's show you that race, and here's that beginning for who, that's me.
So he doesn't break that badly, and keep in mind, and he steadies there, he does, but it's not some abrupt, serious steady. He really didn't run well in this race. And we'll show you the head-on, and you'll see what happens. He breaks a little slow. He's the one who caused himself to break slow. You see, he breaks in a little bit. He kind of kisses the horse next to him. But right there, he gets a nice bump there. That's a legit bump. And listen, sometimes those bumps, horses run through it, and sometimes it just takes them out of their game. It's hard to know. And this was a race that was dominated towards the front end. All of that being said, he still didn't do a lot of running in there. So I'm a little bit skeptical, because the other thing about it is he had gotten very good. Maybe he's taken a step back. I think Excellent Time is the horse to beat, but on the other hand, he's had his chances as well. But when who that's me finished ahead of Excellent Timing in Saratoga, Excellent Timing set a wicked pace that day, off a layoff, and I still thought he ran the better race. But Excellent Timing is also a horse that's been a disappointment a lot of times in his career. I'm going to try to beat both of them with the horse on the rail, Listen to Your Heart, who, if nothing else, he runs very well off layoffs.
That'll be the case today. Hasn't raced since late August. As you take a look at who, that's me, 5-2. Let's head downstairs to Maggie.
I completely agree with what Andy's saying when it comes to the 2 favorites. My problem is that I just had such a hard time throughout his career warming up to Excellent Timing. So let's take a look at number 4, Who That's Me, with those blinkers coming off, and kind of speaking to what we saw from him getting bumped around in that last start. When you put blinkers on a horse for the first time, you have to get approved at the gate. You don't necessarily have to break with them, though. You just have to go to the gate with those blinkers on. And a lot of times we see horses putting them on for the first time when they haven't worn them throughout their career. They'll break a touch slow, and that's exactly what he did. And too, some horses, when they get bumped, it'll kind of make them sulk a bit. And I think that's what happened with him. Now, for me, personally, as a physical, he's the horse I like in here. He's always been a big, strong type. And this year, and hearkening back to his 3-year-old season, he just kind of really mentally put it all together. He used to get a bit nervous prior to his races. That all went away. And he's making the same impression here again today. So I can't say by looking at him that it looks as though his form is going to continue on the downward slide. But that last race, I would like to just chalk it up to the blinkers as they come off today. Excellent Timing. He's kind of second off of that little bit of a layoff, and his 4th start here overall since an extended one that went about 13 months. He's just a small, slight horse that never really went on. But what I do find with these Not This Times, that's often the case. They're runners, don't get me wrong. They just never really grow physically. I will say he does look probably one of the better times I've seen him since coming back off that extended layoff again. And he can win here. He's just not really my cup of tea. As we'll also check in with Listen to Your Heart. I mean, I highlighted it the same way Andy just said. He seems to run well fresh. But going back to that last effort where he was off for nearly a year, he returned as a new gelding back on May 14th of 2022. And From the get-go, I thought that is exactly what this horse needed because, well, A, he's a bigger type, and the horses that aren't going to go into stud careers, it can be useful to lighten them up a bit. Furthermore, he just completely lacked focus, whether it was in the preliminaries or out in the racetrack. And I really thought the gelding kind of changed his mindset about things. But that day, he just screamed the fact that he was going to run well. I'm not getting the same impression today. He's a little bit more quiet, doesn't look quite as good in his coat, doesn't look quite as fit either. We'll see. I agree with what Andy said because I'm not thrilled with the two favorites either, but there was just a completely different impression the last time he came back off of a layoff, Greg.
So 7-1, listen to your heart. We'll see if he'll probably need his best to beat this group. Off the benches have been some of his best.
He'll need better than his best.
Yeah.
I picked him. I'm taking a little bit of a shot because I don't totally love either the 4 and 7. The 7 has had his chances, but he's also had a lot of layoffs. I don't trust the 4, but at the end of the day, this is one you can say this horse likes to run fresh. He was coming off a 9-month layoff when he ran a remarkable second at almost 40-1. Then he came off a layoff of almost a year, and he probably won this race. Both of them are the best races he's ever run. So he is a horse that can run well fresh. And he's switching to Ray Handel. I know he was in the barn of the world's greatest trainer, Christophe Clement, but Ray's doing a terrific job and coming off a huge year. And I just thought he was a little bit interesting. If I'm looking for an alternative to the 4 and 7, he was the best one I could come up with, and that was really why I picked him. No great shakes.
7-1 right now. Kate Davis rides for Ray Handel. So barn switch, layoff, and 6 years old, going to need a race he's never run before. Assuming, the top two choices run even a B plus.
No, I agree. That's the problem, and it's not. If I felt like either of those races were within a length of those horses, I would have no problem making a real bet on him and taking him. He's going to have to run his best race.
Well, here's the man who's going to ride the favorite. More importantly, he's going to join us a little bit later on. Kendrick Carmouche entered today tied for second in the jockey standings.
So you think the whole conversation should be, why aren't you in first, Kendrick? I think that's the question you want to ask him when he gets up here. I mean, what is it? Why are you not leading?
He may be before all is said and done.
He may be. And he switched agents to Jimmy Riccio, and he and Jimmy are doing great together. And as Jimmy has told me, he's a pleasure to work with, and I'm sure his ex-agent Kevin Bubser would say the same thing. And they had a long relationship as well and did very well together.
Was the king of Parks. He won 4 straight riding titles, 7 at Parks. And then 2015 made the decision to come here to the New York circuit.
And it's been a great one for him. He's done very well, and he's a fun guy to have around. Kendrick's one of those guys that makes you feel better about being at the racetrack. He's always in good humor. You can joke around with him. He's fun. He's just Kendrick's just a guy to know him and to like him.
Yeah, always a smile on his face. So he'll be on the not the favorite anymore, the 7 at 2-1. So here's Listen to Your Heart, 7-1 off the bench.
Hoping this horse can get the right trip, run well for layoff. I'm going to have to step a little forward. First time for Ray Handel.
Prince of Pharaohs at 6-1.
Interesting rider, a rider who won 1,200 races in Turkey, ran to Matt Cantermachi, who said he's riding Dubai next week, but he may come back. But he doesn't think he'll be here for more than a couple weeks, but you never know.
Chowda, he had one huge race on the resume. He has not repeated it.
His brother will be in tomorrow. Lobster.
Yeah. 9-5. Who, that's me. One race with blinkers. They come off today.
Was it the bump? Was it the blinkers? Is he tailing off? We'll find out.
9-5 favorite. Here's excellent timing. There's Kendrick on the 7.
Excellent timing, who I think is a horse to beat. I think he's supposed to be the controlling speed, and hoping our friend Kendrick gets it done with him.
5-2 right now, and he has speed he can use at his disposal. Brew Pub outside, 15-1 for Marcelo Arenas.
He'd need the race to come apart to get a piece.
And somewhere out there's Big Engine. Jose Gomez, Rudy Rodriguez.
The problem with Big Engine is he has the same running style as Woohoo That's Me. And in general, Woohoo That Me has been a better horse. But if you think Woohoo That's Me is falling apart, then maybe you like him.
Trying to make it 3 in a row. The apprentice, Jose Gomez. We'll see if he can do it.
Almost the end of his apprentice, right?
Yeah, he's got...
Do we know?
Waning days. We know that much. Earned $15, whether you win or lose. Aqueduct Fairgrounds and Oaklawn. Don't forget, you got to opt in at NYRABets.com. Take advantage, get a little extra money in your account.
50 or more at each track for them. And here's my horse. We can keep talking about him if we want. Listen to your heart. You just feel this horse has run his best races fresh. And I'm interested to see him going to Ray Handel's barn. It's not a knock on Christophe Clement. And a lot of times, trainer changes. It's not about saying this horse was in a bad barn and is now in a good barn. It's more about saying some horses just flourish with a little bit of change of scenery sometimes. Some trainers figure other horses out. And like the interesting thing, especially when I first got in the game, I used to say, why don't these higher percentage trainers claim horses from these lower percentage trainers? It never works. You see horses that get claimed from guys who are 5%, and they go to guys who are 20%, and those horses, they never really seem to improve. And one of the trainers who has one of the better records around here off the claim is Randy Persaud, who he's been winning a lot lately, but is not a high percentage trainer. It's an odd thing, claiming game.
Well, listen to your heart. Used to have speed early in his career. Doesn't seem to have that kind of lick anymore as we take a look at the 7 and Kendrick.
I thought he'd be sitting second to the 7. I'm hoping that Katie gets positioned behind excellent timing. And I'm hoping that being second might put her in the right position there. But I have no illusions. I mean, wasn't excellent timing just 5-2?
Yes.
Okay, then.
Even money, 4-5, floating back and forth.
Wow. Okay, then. Somebody came in with a big bet. I wonder what the doubles look like. Fairly strong favorite over the...
I would say so.
But not even money in the doubles.
Let's head back down to Maggie.
Like I said, I'm having a little bit of trouble separating the two favorites. I just sided with Hoo That's Me because he's one that always kind of strikes my fancy physically. And like I said, I'm just hoping that the blinkers were the problem last time. But taking a look at Big Engine, the last time he was in this condition, he won. And he's been in some tougher spots since then. Now, I gotta say, I've seen him look better physically. He's gotten a little long in the coat. He isn't carrying quite the impressive conditioning that I've seen from him in the past. But we'll see if anybody decides to go with excellent timing, which I don't necessarily foresee that happening. Maybe things soften up for him a bit. And like he's shown in the past, he's shown he can be very effective at this condition. Greg.
Yeah, well, Big Engine has had some very big moments. You see a 96 Beyer speed figure in a win that was back February of 2022.
In his day.
10-time winner.
Oh, no, in his day, he's run some fast races. I just don't know if you really... He's taking a lot of money in here. It just feels like... Well, I'll say something else about him. He's a rail runner. He's a horse that is most comfortable moving inside of horses, and you don't see that in a lot of closers. Street Sense was a bit of a rail runner, a horse that was comfortable running inside of horses. Most closers want to run outside unencumbered. He seems to be his most comfortable running inside of horses. Sort of an oddity.
Just shy of $500,000 in earnings. Obviously, his numbers, they've tailed off a little bit, but not that long ago, he beat Hoo That's Me. Did that at Belmont at Aqueduct in September. He's 5-1 on the board. Jose Gomez again looking for 3 in a row on the 5 here, teaming up with Rudy Rodriguez. Favorite, we expect him to be in front here. Excellent timing with Kendrick Carmouche. The 7 for trainer Rob Atras. Going 7/8 of a mile coming up. Let's go to Chris Griffin for the call.
Two out. Excellent timing. Brew Pub. All in line. All set. Rider is off the 1. Listen to your heart. They were set there, but now rider off. Listen to your heart. Katie Davis. Assistant starter has stepped down. And they will back the 1 out, so stand by. Listen to your heart. Backed out of the gate.
So the 1 being a bit of a bad actor, Katie Davis, will wait, let the starting gate crew try and calm this one down. And it looks like we'll get a leg back up immediately here.
I would say that I'm not thrilled with this, but you never really seem to know, do you? I mean, it's hard to know if it's really a bad thing or not.
Still doesn't want to go in.
And maybe he misses Christophe Clement.
Former Clement runner.
One
first time out, did that gate to wire. We'll see if some of that speed comes back today. Let's go back to Chris Griffin.
And they're off. Speed to the outside here from Excellent Timing, and there's Listen to Your Heart. Listen to Your Heart will be up with the early kick, and Prince of Pharaohs is about to split rivals, and Prince of Pharaohs is ready to challenge the early lead with Excellent Timing. They're 1-2. Now settling off of them is Listen to Your Heart. Up on the outside, Brew Pub just gets passed by Hoo Hoo, That's Me. Then the red cap there is Chowda, and the early trailer, Big Engine. Pace duel on the front end. Excellent Timing's got company to the inside here from Prince of Pharaohs. Neither relenting there. The posted opening quarter, 20.70 for that posted opening quarter fraction. As they approach 4 furlongs left to go, they move into the far turn. Excellent Timing has got the lead. Prince of Pharaohs right there in second. Hoo Hoo, That's Me is now ranging up on the outside. Then Listen to Your Heart, who's in behind Prince of Pharaohs, who is trying to re-engage here from that second position. Brew Pub is trying to rally on. Big Engine launches a rally from the back of the field with Chowda. Excellent Timing's got the lead, 44. And 1 for that half-mile posted time. A quarter mile left to go. Hoo Hoo, That's Me is chasing Excellent Timing. Excellent Timing is still in front. Hoo Hoo, That's Me has got every chance to run this leader down out in the center of the racetrack. Listen to Your Heart and Prince of Pharaohs. A furlong left to go. Will Excellent Timing keep going? Kendrick Carmouche is asking for a final 16th. Hoo Hoo, That's Me is up on the outside. They are now head and head as they approach the wire. Hoo Hoo, That's Me gets up for the victory. Hoo Hoo, That's Me. Dylan Davis over Excellent Timing. Then a late run here, Big Engine. Further back was Listen to Your Heart and Brew Pub in a photo in 1 minute 23.04 posted time in today's 7th.
Hoo Hoo, That's Me. Would not pay attention yet to the fractions here. We'll try and get those accurately in a little bit. Blicker's coming off the one-race experiment with them. Ran a lot better today.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very tough beat for the 7, Excellent Timing, but he got him in the game, and he was able to grind out the win. The 7 furlongs just got to Excellent Timing, and he was there, but I give him some credit being close to the pace. My guess in here is that the clock started 2 or 2.5 seconds fast. My guess would be that you probably want to add about 2.5 seconds. It's hard to know exactly, but my guess is they went around 22 and 3, and then they probably went, 25.5 seconds.
Plus color 1 was in this race.
Right. Obviously, they didn't go 27. They didn't go 44. They didn't go 1 and 9 and 1. Or this
Still,
race, this
good
race
effort
would get a
from this horse
140
to get back to some of his better efforts.
Well, yeah. I mean, if the times were right, they should just wait to the Breeders' Cup for him because he got about a 138 buyer, maybe a 140.
4-7-5-1. Hoo Hoo, That's Me running down. Excellent Timing. Feature race coming up next. It is the Interboro, and the odds-on favorite, Betsy Blue. She's won 3 of her last 5 starts. 7 for 11 at Aqueduct, and again, connections in the very near future. Thinking graded stakes for her. She'll be in action when we come back.
Flightline is in full flight. Flightline turns it on at the top of the stretch, and he's in cruise control.
And Flightline takes off!
Take a good look at this, because you're not going to see this too often, maybe never again. Flightline, 20 lengths clear.
World-class racehorse, world-class performance at a world championship event.
We're back on America's Day at the Races. One of the great views at any racetrack, that hotel. You can see him coming down the stretch out in Hot Springs. Good to have you with us here on America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage. Race 5, race away from that American Beauty, which will kick off the late pick 5. This 5th race here, 6 furlongs. State-bred maiden claiming event. It's impoverished at 3. The favorite, who has speed, showed speed in that debut, got beat a length. Let's go to Paula Duca for more.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when we've gotten to these Arkansas-bred races, they've been really tough to handicap because you just don't really know. So, we had a couple drop-downs that have been the key, but when you look at this race, you have one drop-down in here, and it's basically the 5 Black Apple. Now, when I look at the pace of this race, you obviously look at the 3 in here, who just came short last time out at about 6.5 to 1, and I thought ran a giant race considering it was inside, took a little bit of pressure, and, was 3 lengths clear of the second-place finisher. Okay, I can understand completely why this horse is your favorite. Now, the 4, At a Party, this is a horse that does not have gait issues. I mean, kind of like a quarter horse. I mean, if you look in the 8 career starts, 6 times this horse is just broken on the button, and he has a tremendous amount of speed. So what happens here? Because the 1 has some speed, but when you see these Arkansas-bred races, you're wondering if it's really tough to pass. Now, the 5 is the interesting horse. Johnny Ortiz not having his usual meet, but this horse got bet down to 6 to 1 in a 12-horse field in a maiden special weight. I don't love the complete drop immediately with blinkers on and LASIK, so they're changing the whole kitchen sink on the 5. But, you have to respect the horse coming down in class. And the other horse in here, Greg, is the 8. I thought the 8 was very sneaky in here, Rosie's Boy. This horse lost the rider last time, ducked in. Kristen Troyes had no shot. This horse got bet to favoritism in a 12-horse field for 20. Obviously, the word was out because the horse got claimed by Burrow McBride, who's about 12%. So I thought the 8 was the long shot in here. And the sire, Prom Shoes, brings me back many memories to Lady in Red and Krista Berg. I know that was one of your songs, Greg, at prom.
I'm thinking of Paul and Prom Shoes in general.
I missed my senior prom, so it's sore memories for me.
Why?
I had mono.
Do you know what I was doing the night of my senior prom? You'll be very proud of me. I think Paul will be especially proud of
Playing
us.
the races.
I was a quarter horse in Appaloosa racing at Pompano Park. Paulie is jealous he wasn't there. I'm with Paulie. I bet the 8 to win. All the things that Paul talked about. Rosie's Boy for me.
Yeah, bet down, as Paulie said, bet down to favoritism in that debut. Ducked in, lost the rider, so never got a chance really to run at all. So this effectively the debut, and 7 to 1 now. Start number 2 for the new barn.
Yeah, I thought that horse is the kind of horse I just can't resist that horse.
All right, Vic Stauffer with the 5th from Oaklawn. State-bred maiden 25 and a 6 furlong sprint coming up.
Last to load is Work All Day. Going to be a delay. Royal DB has unseated the rider. Going to be a delay. Riders back on Royal DB as well as Cruisin' Rocket. They're at the post. They're off. At a Party broke beautifully, impoverished right alongside. These two brace out. Then comes Flashy Boy goes away in 3rd, and those 3 go very fast. Cruisin' Rocket, Work All Day, and All in Good Timer next. Then comes Peripatetic and Fetches Brom with Black Apple. Other times, Royal DB, and the early trailer is Rosie's Boy. Into the far turn with At a Party outside and Impoverished at the rail. There goes Flashy Boy. Flashy Boy is up into 3rd, but now a length from the dueling front runners. Work All Day is next. And moving up 2 in front of Cruisin' Rocket. Peripatetic has 5 lengths to make up. Then comes Fetches Brom and All in Good Time. Black Apple is double digits from the front. Top of the stretch, At a Party and Impoverished. At a Party getting away just a bit. At a Party, a half length on Impoverished in second. 3 back to Work All Day in third. Then comes Peripatetic. At a Party is now clear. At a Party, a 3.5 length lead. Impoverished trying to hold Peripatetic for second, but At a Party is much too good. And far in front, At a Party 5 in front. Peripatetic into second. At a Party in front. At a Party coasts across the wire by 3. Peripatetic was second. Impoverished third. Maybe Fetches Brom for fourth.
At a Party, beaten favorite at this level last time out, had the lead and then backed up to second, beat a length. This time finishes.
The 9th time was the charm, and it was much, much the best in here. I don't know what the story with the number 8 Rosie's Boy was leading the first race, but this horse doesn't know how to run.
No.
It was basically eased. Didn't know what it was doing in the backstretch, and I don't know if the horse finished, seemed to be being eased in there. A little late run for Peripatetic, who was 0 for 15 and actually finished second for the first time in his life.
2-1 did not go off your favorite. That was Impoverished, the 3, the second-time starter, and it had been a lot of opportunities for this horse.
I agree.
But able to graduate today.
It was the race for horses that have had chances, because the 9 was 0 for 15. I think it was almost 70-1, the 9, I think.
Tough to find Peripatetic. Meanwhile, back in New York, that's me. Back to efforts that we've seen or expect from him.
And to his credit, he was closer to the pace today. He got into the game. So it's not like he just completely took advantage of a meltdown. Obviously, with inaccurate fractions, and the clock started late, clearly started late in this race. It's very hard to know what the real fractions were. 2 best horses, excellent timing, ran a winning race. That was a very tough beat for him. Ooh, that's what he just able to get him at the end.
Good effort. Wasn't on the lead, though, in this spot. Is he better when he's in front, or just got run down by a better horse today?
I think it's a good question. Was 5-7 furlongs a little bit long for him? Maybe a better horse today. I don't know. It's hard to know without the real times, to be honest.
Yeah. Late pick 5. Grump's Little Tots 9-1 to start it off. Oh Trouble, Hoo That's Me. 2 very logical ones. We still got a long way to go, but we have a 1-9 favorite, free square for most, if Betsy Blue can get it done in the Interboro. Being bet like she cannot lose at this price. She's won 3 of her last 5 against 7 for 11 at Aqueduct and much bigger graded stakes targets in her very near future. She has been incredibly reliable over the course of her career as well. There she is 16 times, first or second in 20 career starts. Belinda Rice, Jose Lizcano, Cloud9 stable with this 5-year-old mare who is in the form of her life. Could she keep it going in our feature, the Interboro, coming up next.
Whatever you use to predict future stallion success, breathe slowly and gaze at the desert's first great championship race. Curlin won it. So did Street Cry, Arrogate, and now, in a time even faster than Arrogate's, Mystic Guide. The cold hard fact is, after this, he was rated the best horse in the world. Mystic Guide. New to Darley.
If you're looking into racing partnerships, you should know they're not all the same. When you partner with Bond Racing Stables, you become a member of a growing family of racing enthusiasts, all guided by 3 generations of experience in thoroughbred breeding, training, and racing. Sharing the excitement at Saratoga and Belmont Park, where we've graced the winner's circle with winners like Giacosa, who was bred, born, and raised here at our Song Hill Farm. Get more than just a partnership. Become a member of the Bond Racing family. 3 generations of thoroughbred excellence.
Consistently versatile with 25 Grade 1 winners on every surface from 6 furlongs to 1 1/4 miles all over the world.
Switzerland in the Dubai Golden Shaheen. Switzerland wins.
Churls Fight running on. Mason in front. Churls Fight on the outside. At the wire. Photo for the win.
Olympiad gets the gold in the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
All purpose, all places, all power. Speightstown.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire.
RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
We're back on America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage. We have the feature in New York up next. That's the Interboro with Betsy Blue in action. Our program brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. There she is, 5-year-old mare who, as Andy said at the top of the show, really just going to Saratoga this summer. She became a different athlete on the racetrack, and it's stayed that way ever since.
I believe that she ran in $25,000 claimers earlier in her career. Of course, ran at lower levels. She's now made $600,000. And I mean, at this point, there's no reason not to be optimistic that she could be improving as the year goes on and ready to take on some tougher company. She'll have to step up her game a bit, but she's a fun story. And these are the kind of horses you say, you know, anybody has a chance, right? You don't have to spend a lot of money to get a good horse. And the other thing is spending a lot of money doesn't guarantee you any success.
This is the Garland of Roses win. December 10th. Last time out, she waited and took her time to get this win, didn't she?
I mean, the horse in front, who was one of the favorites, that was coming off a 101 buyer, looked home, started drifting a little bit late, got a little bit tired, and Betsy Blue gets by her, and then, I mean, she wasn't going to win by a lot more, but she just comfortably goes on by at the end, eased up in the very, very late stages of that race to get the win.
That was at 6 furlongs. She's going 7 today. She is 3 for 5 at 7/8. Let's head downstairs with more on the 1-9 favorite and the rest of the field. Here's Maggie.
Wow, 1-9, and just to kind of pick up where Andy was talking about her being offered for $25,000, she was, I believe, in her second start, and George Weaver claimed her that day. As Linda Rice and I actually were reminiscing about her career, and Linda said, I tried to go in for her that day. George claimed her, ran her for the $50,000. She won that day too, and that's when Linda and the Current Connections got her, and she's more than five times as much as what they paid for. It really goes to show what taking a gamble in this business can lead you to. As Betsy Blue, she looks fantastic again, and I just have the utmost respect for her in a filly or mare, or any horse for that matter, who has won nearly half of their career starts, in which she has just that 9 for 20 going in to this Interboro, and I definitely don't mind the 7/8 for her. I think it's actually her perfect distance. As let's take a look at a new face. That's number 2, Miss T2 for Mike McCarthy. Obviously, she just has kind of one race that's a bit of an outlier as opposed to the rest, and that was back nearly, year and a half, 2.5 years ago, when she posted that 97 winning an allowance race. Now, obviously, Michael feeling as though the dirt is more to her liking, as he does have that string at Turfway Park this winter, I should say, at the training center, but down in Kentucky. And she's a bit of a bigger filly, and she is the one that could possibly control here. So the fact that she gets an extra furlong to work with, I mean, going back to her first start for Michael at Churchill, going the 5, she was just a little bit run off her feet and wired that day. I think she could settle into her stride a bit better going this 7 furlong distance. She looks fine here, not quite as good as Betsy Blue, don't get me wrong, but I just think she's a bit of an interesting player given her early speed, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. It's the race being bet, of course, is who's going to play second fiddle to Betsy Blue in this spot. We'll see if Miss T2 can make an impact. 6-year-old mare, this is going to be the final start of her career.
She is. She's off to go and try to become a mommy. So wish her well. She should be the speed in this race. She appears to be the speed on paper. We saw Michael McCarthy, her trainer, coming at his first New York win in the Jerome just a couple of weeks ago. I didn't think she was good enough. Yeah, but she does have, Michael has very good numbers synthetic to dirt. He's 22% with a 255 ROI. I'm going to try to upset the favorite with Flight to Shanghai. It's interesting that Horacio De Paz claimed this horse, and he got very aggressive with her. I mean, it's kind of a crazy move to go from a $40,000 claimer to a grade 3 where she was 72 to 1. She actually ran well. She not only ran fourth, she was dueling with the winner that day. I thought it was a very respectable effort by her, and I'm not sure she can beat the favorites. I have to step to do that and hope the favorite doesn't run a race. But this is a trainer, Horacio DePaz. His numbers in New York, second off the claim. I think he's 7 for 17 overall, second off the claim, and something like 5 for 9 at NYRA tracks. I like it when good trainers like Horacio DePaz get aggressive with horses, especially like this. And I think he must see something to think he can take some chances against good horses.
Now, we showed you that last win, obviously, from Betsy Blue. Yep. There she is, the 5. It was visually impressive. But her Saratoga numbers, those 2 wins this summer, well, I should say the Saratoga win and the Belmont and Aqueduct win, the recent figures have not been as fast.
No. I thought her last race was pretty good, though. I thought she ran well last time out. I mean, I didn't say, but I think that the 5-4's last race was very good also.
Here's self-isolation. David Jacobson, Dylan Davis at 17 to 1.
I'll say one thing. It seems like Jacobson's horse has been running very well the last week. That's for sure.
Miss T2, Swan Song here. Eric Cancel, Michael McCarthy.
Got to try to wire the field and hope for the best.
Another Linda Rice, stablemate to the favorite who has some ability and figures that are not that far away.
She likes to run second, got a perfect trip last time, and she's probably the likeliest second-place finisher. That's why she's the second choice.
Flight to Shanghai, who you just made the case for, coming out of a grade 3.
I believe she'll be forward in here, and I believe she'll run well.
And Betsy Blue, 3 wins again, her last 5 starts in raging form.
Yes, 1 to 9 is overboard, though. She's not, I mean, you mentioned Piece of Your Heart runs some fast races. She's not. She's supposed to be around the morning line of 3 to 5 or 1 to 2 in here. They're going a little bit crazy. She'll probably drift up, but she's the one to beat.
You got 3 to 5 though. Was
1 to 2
fair?
Somewhere in there. Yeah. I mean, does she look like a 1 to 9 shot to you?
No. I thought 3 to 5 was.
Yeah, and the other thing is she's a closer, and I'm always worried about taking short prices on closers because things can go. It's much easier for things to go wrong for a closer than it is for a horse who's forwardly placed.
Yeah, I agree. Still, she's probably going to go off at that number here. You can play all the action with NYRA Bets. Go to nyrabets.com, get signed up, started, play along, and bet any track, anywhere, anytime as we look at self-isolation again here, 14 to 1. Who did beat the stablemate to the favorite. 2 starts back, November 11th, was favored in this spot. Got an 80 buyer for the win.
Yeah, I mean, self-isolation got it done in here, and for the most part, I'd say that Piece of My Heart is just not a really winning type. She just sort of found herself in a field that she couldn't help but beat last time out. But in reality, she's not much of a winner, and I'm not her biggest fan overall, put it that way.
And again, we said it, some other races too. If Betsy Blue even brings her B game, she doesn't seem to have the kind of race in her. And she's 5 years old now. She had a great year last year, 6 for 12, 283,000 earnings. Doesn't seem to have a race that can jump up to compete with the best of. And that's obviously why the favorite's 1 to 9.
I agree. I agree. I don't like the one, self-isolation. She's actually my 5th choice in this race. I think that Miss T2 is a more likely winner. I think Piece of My Heart is a more likely winner. I'm alive in the double with the 4, and I bet a big exact of 5-4, which last I looked was paying $13 for $1. I'm committed here. I think Flight to Shanghai is an extremely interesting horse here. I don't think any others are that strong that I should be worried about him.
All right, let's head back down to Maggie.
Taking a look at the horse that Andy has selected in number 4, Flight to Shanghai, I looked at it too. I said, why is Horacio DePaz running this horse in back-to-back stake races? There isn't much pedigree to say, well, he's looking for some black type for her. She's a Shanghai Bobby, and while it's a group of hard-knocking horses on the bottom side, it's not like there's any major graded stakes winners in the first generation or the second generation. Then you wonder, is it an owner thing? Is the owner, because I'm not really familiar with this owner, wanting to be aggressive? Maybe, but I think there's more evidence to show that what Andy's thinking is true. I like the 7 furlongs for her. I mean, she is a filly that mare that has consistently run at a mile for the most part, and maybe a little bit further than that, tried the 6, 3 back. But the 7 furlongs looks to be an ideal distance. Last time against Dr. B, completely run off her feet, as everybody was, but still showed enough pace to be in contact with that field. And she's built more like a sprinting type. You know, she's got those well-developed hindquarters to her. She's okay. I'm not in love with her. I'm taking a shot here with Miss T2 to maybe wire the field. But really, there's no denying that Betsy Blue looks best on paper, looks best on the racetrack, Greg.
It'll be fun to watch if she can do it again. When she kicks into gear, she really starts flying down the stretch. And we'll see if she can pick up her 8th win of her career here at Aqueduct, where she has been brilliant. And Jose Lezcano has been her regular pilot.
You know, obviously she has to run well here, but you can't blame Linda for thinking about the Barbara Fritchie in her next start, which I want to say is run President's Weekend at Laurel. And then, you know, if things go well, a race like the Distaff here, which is either run the day before the Wood Memorial or right on Wood Memorial Day. It depends. I'm not sure if we moved it this year. No reason not to be optimistic. You should always want to be hoping you get to those races, and you can always readjust if you can't.
And just a neat story, too, to be getting this good and thinking about those spots for the first time in your career as a 5-year-old when you finally start putting everything together. Oaklawn, American Beauty. It's going to kick off the late Pig 5. Fillies and Mares sprinting 6 furlongs in this feature on their Saturday card. That is up next, and that is a look at Perfect Happiness. Chris Hartman's had a tremendous meet. Just incredible what he has done to this point, winning just shy of 40% coming into this weekend. But Sarah Harper likely going to be the one to beat in that spot. Seems like a wide open race. We'll get to that coming up. First things first, Interboro. 7 furlongs here for Fillies and Mares, 1 to 5, Betsy Blue. The 5 for Linda Rice with Jose Lezcano. Coming off that Garland of Roses victory, she will be flying late. Can she do it again? Pick up the 10th win of her career. There she is. Let's go to Chris Griffin for the call.
Line. All set for the Interboro. And they're off. Piece of My Heart breaks well, so does Miss T2. It'll be Miss T2, who's now Heart Scent is up by a full length as they come out of the chute. Self-Isolation is going to track in second. Flight to Shanghai is to the outside here of Piece of My Heart. And the trailer is the big favorite Betsy Blue, but only 2 off the lead. Miss T2 has got the lead and has company now. Here comes Flight to Shanghai, is ranging up 3 wide. In between horses there is Self-Isolation. Watching the action as Betsy Blue is just right there in the 4th spot. Now only 3/4 of length off the battling trio as they approach. A half-mile left to go. Piece of My Heart is at the back end of the field. They went 23-2 for that opening quarter. On the inside, here comes Miss T2. Self-Isolation under a tight hold in between horses. 3 wide still. Flight to Shanghai. Piece of My Heart. And Betsy Blue is the trailer, but is within range of these leaders, but has to pick it up from there as they're approaching a 1/4 mile left to go. Miss T2. Piece of My Heart saving ground to the inside. Betsy Blue is 3 lengths off the lead. A 1/4 mile left to go. Miss T2 is trying to shake loose on the lead. Miss T2 kicks for home. Piece of My Heart is in full pursuit from second. Betsy Blue now gets in gear on the grandstand side for a final 1/8 of a mile to go. Miss T2, Piece of My Heart. Betsy Blue is just baking up ground slowly up on the outside. Betsy Blue now starts to straighten up and inside the final 16th. Betsy Blue, maybe hard work a bit, but Betsy Blue will win the Interboro. Piece of My Heart will get the exacta there for trainer Linda Rice. And Miss T2 finished 3rd in 1 minute 25.94 seconds.
That is how Betsy Blue does it. She does it again here off the pace. Took a little while to kick into gear. Won pretty comfortably, though.
Yeah, I mean, not winning like a 1 to 5 shot should, and I thought she'd win by more top of the stretch. She had to work hard for that. I do think the rail possibly is an advantage today, which worked a little bit against her in here. And you also have to think it was a very slow pace, so Jose Lezcano moved her up a little bit in the middle of the race, and then she dropped back. So he was conscious that he wanted position in there. I think all those things made it a little bit tougher for her to run a better race. But when you're a closer, that's what we talked about that, right? You can be a victim in here. She got it done, and Linda finished 1-2.
Not as close as it looked, really, right?
No, I mean, I don't know about you, Greg, but I never felt like she wasn't going to win this race.
Yeah. 5-3, 2-1, 1 to 5 favorite Betsy Blue. Now 4 wins in her last 6 starts, 10 for 21 lifetime. And we'll wait and see, obviously what the figure comes back.
Just so people know, we were talking about the last race. This race was run just a little bit less than 3 seconds slower than the last race. And the figures are probably somewhat similar. Maybe the last race could have been run a little bit faster. But just to show why that last race, we know the time was way inaccurate.
All right, so potentially graded stakes next. Barbara Fritchie, distaff for Betsy Blue off that effort. Late pick 5 at Oaklawn is coming up next. American Beauty, 6 furlongs, fillies and mares in this spot. 8-5, hot and sultry for Norm Cassie. We'll get to in a moment. That's the favorite. Here's Connie Kay for trainer Randy Morse.
Tough spot to be in when there's so much speed and you draw the rail and you're probably not fast enough to win. I'm surprised she's only 5-1 here, to be honest. Let she be a bigger price.
Hot and sultry. She had back-to-back wins, and then she got beat in the mud at Oaklawn.
But she also ran to a buzzsaw in her last race. Uguri is already a graded stakes horse, but she's under the gun as a speed with speeds outside of her.
I'm the Boss of Me, 2-back winner at Delaware.
Another speed-type horse. She could conceivably be the speed of the speed, but is she good enough?
And that's the big question here, because this is the one who benefits from a hot pace, but Lizette, does she have a race that even puts her in the mix?
I mean, she really doesn't. That's the problem. But she is the lone closer in a race with a lot of speed, and she's a huge price. So I can understand somebody wants to throw a couple dollars on her.
Sarah Harper, she was precocious early in her career. She has not won since January of last year.
And I worry that she's a horse that isn't at her best without the lead, and it's hard to see her making it here.
Perfect Happiness. She owns a win over Sarah Harper. Chris Hartman-Barn going extremely good right now.
Yeah, he's a very dangerous trainer, as you said, winning at just under 40% here, and does draw well towards the outside. But she's another one. She's got one really fast race going back at Oaklawn Park that would make her tough, and this trainer's dangerous.
I'm going to check in with Paula Duca, and Paulie, obviously upside, it would appear, goes to the lightly raced 2 on our screen right now, hot and sultry.
Yeah, it looks like the public has settled on the 2 so far, but this is a really salty race of fillies and mares in here. And, you know, the 2 last time, hot and sultry, I had mentioned it on air yesterday, and Andy's right. Some trainers will go and say, oh, I was a work short and this and that. Norm Cassie, after that race, really felt he had a nice filly. Now, you agree, he's a really nice filly in her own right. And, you know, I thought she ran good, you know, 21-45. She was able to hang on. And he was telling me, listen, she missed some training at Churchill Downs. I think she's going to be more dangerous. But I think this might be a more salty field besides Uguri in here. So I do think the 2 will have her work cut out for her. Now, Sarah Harper in here, Andy does make a great point. She's the kind of horse that needs the lead. But there's a ton of horses in here that want the lead besides the 4 Lisette. And I think the 1 is taking money here for Johnny Court because this horse has run 6 times here at Oaklawn with 3 wins and 3 seconds. So maybe a horse for course type of animal, and I think that's the reason why. This is going to be a scramble for the front end. I think whoever gets to the front end is going to be very tough. So I'll land on the 2, hot and sultry. That I just think that horse is the most talented. But I'll tell you right now, the way this race sets up, I would throw in Lisette, maybe 2nd or 3rd, if you're playing trifectas or superfectas.
Paulie, thanks. And there is Lisette for the coach, D. Wayne Lucas. And a lot of people, I think, believe that when you look at this race just because she's the one that benefits from a pace to up front. A few of them look like they want to go. We'll see if she can at least get a piece of it.
She's enticing for that reason. I can see it. The problem is she's just not fast enough. And her last race here, just 7 days ago, I mean, she should be lucky to finish 5th based on that last race. But who knows? Maybe there's a lot of hitting, and maybe she shows up. And as we know with Wayne Lucas, sometimes he will surprise you.
Well, Sarah Harper, again, we talked about her early on in her career being so precocious. She won 3 of her first 5 starts. This is a look at the poinsettia last time out. It's probably a little too short for her. It was 5.5 furlongs, second to a good one named Pretty Birdie.
Yeah, I mean, Pretty Birdie won our Schuylerville for Norm Cassie, we were talking about, and Mary Lou Whitney stable as well. She's pretty good when she runs her race. She's run well at Oaklawn as well. I don't have a real knock on her, except, let me say something. Look at her last 5 buyer speed figures. Okay, we'll eliminate the turf one. 75, 76, 69 on dirt. These are not numbers that are getting the money in this race. And then she runs the big number, but she runs it at 5.5 furlongs. also her best speed figure. 5.5 furlong speed figures, they're odd distance races. They don't run them a lot. If you want to find unreliable numbers, they're 5.5 and 6.5 furlongs because they don't run them that often. And I'm just wondering how reliable she is, how great her form really is. You remember her day? I remember her debut. She got bet extremely strongly in the rain up in Saratoga a couple of years ago, and she turned out to be a legitimately good horse. But I just wonder if right now she's not the good horse that she once was.
Well, outside of her, it's Perfect Happiness. Got a lot of seconds, 9 seconds from 22 starts. But she's coming out of a stakes race at Fairgrounds against a next out winner, who she was only beat a length to and had to lead in the stretch against.
Ouvra, who beat her, has 8 starts with 6 wins and 2 seconds on the dirt. And she's good in the turf, too. So she lost to a real good horse, Portilla. I think Portilla finished 3rd at Oaklawn last week. It was the race that was Hazy Command won. Yeah, she's 3rd in Lizette's last race. Just last week. But that was a good race. I'm not, I don't mean that to say that she's a lesser. She's an out-stall horse who could run some pretty good figs. And listen, she also has the benefit of drawing outside. And it's Chris Hartman, who's winning with, almost everything. And she's a reasonable price.
Just shy of 40% win percentage of the meet, Chris Hartman.
Scary.
Owns a win over Sarah Harper, Perfect Happiness. She's 7-2 on the board. 6-year-old mare, but did run one of her better races last time out. Here for Hot and Sultry, we go back to that upside point that she ran that last race too against, you mentioned a very good one, Ugiri, off a 6-month layoff too.
I agree. Now, sometimes they don't run quite as well in their second start, but, you throw out the mile effort. This horse is good. I do believe she's the right favorite here, but she's under the gun from that post. If she drew post 6, I would feel like she would almost be very, very, very hard to beat.
There she is, stepping in, those blue silks. Alex and Joanne Leblong. Norm Cassie trains. David Cabrera will ride the favorite, 4-year-old filly by Speightster. It's the American Beauty. Let's go to Vic Stauffer.
Now, I'm the Boss of Me and Perfect Happiness. They're off. Good start for Connie K and I'm the Boss of Me. They break best. Connie K to the front. Sarah Harper away in a 3rd. Then comes Hot and Sultry, followed by Perfect Happiness, and the trailer is Lisette. It's Connie K up the backstretch, past the half-mile pole. She leads I'm the Boss of Me 3/4 of a length. Then it's a length to Hot and Sultry and Sarah Harper. They're right together 3rd and 4th and 2.5 off the lead. Perfect Happiness has 4 to make up. 7 lengths last to Lisette, rounding the far turn in the 40th. American Beauty, Connie K, a measured neck in front. I'm the Boss of Me right alongside and threatening to run a big one. These two are 2 lengths clear of Sarah Harper. Here's Sarah Harper up into a clear 3rd. Perfect Happiness is next. Hot and Sultry, top of the stretch. And here's Sarah Harper running 3 wide. I'm the Boss of Me and Connie K. Between horses goes Hot and Sultry and Perfect Happiness in the center. 5 horses to the wire. Hot and Sultry puts her head in front. I'm the Boss of Me. Down to these 2. Hot and Sultry, I'm the Boss of Me. Gonna be close. Hot and Sultry, I'm the Boss of Me. Hot and Sultry. Hot and Sultry beat I'm the Boss of Me. Sarah Harper was 3rd and Perfect Happiness finished 4th.
Second off a lengthy layoff in Hot and Sultry. She got a test from I'm the Boss of Me, but able to put her away and get the 3rd win of her career.
I'm the Boss of Me was as game as a horse could be in here. And, this situation, David Cabrera, where he could have been a goat after the race if things didn't open up, but he was a cool customer weighing between horses. And when that gap opened, I thought she was going to win by 2-3 lengths. But I'm the Boss of Me gave her all she could handle here. A very nice effort. Congrats to our friend Norm Cassie. Happened to see him get the win. Lee belongs as well. She's a nice filly. Nice win for them. But very good race by the 2 of them. Sarah Harper, she's seen better days. She had no excuse today. She can't really win without the lead, and she just didn't have it.
Yeah, she checks in 3rd, never really a threat at any point in this race. Hot and Sultry, first stakes win of her career. 3 for 5 overall. And a nice start to her 4-year-old campaign for Norm Cassie. David Cabrera, you mentioned the Leblongs, goes off as the favorite. And it's a step forward in her second start off a 6-month layoff. We'll have the prices move on to the 7th. Still the nightcap to come in New York as well.
The level of racing that he's achieved is extremely rare. Anybody who's witnessed Matoli running sees a level of ability that doesn't come along that often.
Matoli's a monster! Matoli wins the sprint! Oh, what a horse
better than one Matoli's a few Matoli's.
The mighty Matoli, who won the Portico by 3.5 lengths, the new stakes record.
Thanks for being with us on this Saturday afternoon on our FS2 coverage of America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by the champion sprinter. Run happy, never lost in his career while sprinting. Did it all while racing medication-free. Feature in the books in New York, and Betsy Blue, her role continues. 10th win in 21 career starts.
She's just, it's the kind of horse that's very hard not to root for. You know, she really is just a neat horse that keeps showing up and getting it done.
Betsy Blue, 1-5 favorite, now 8 for 12 at Aqueduct. Let's go downstairs to Maggie.
Pleased to be joined here in the winner's circle by co-owner Jerson Mauricio Suarez. Nobody's ever made me say 3 names on this show before. Well done, you.
Thank you, I guess.
But let's talk about the big girl, Betsy Blue. I mean, she has been such a star for your Cloud9 stable.
Right, first horse we bought in the stable, and I mean, it really took off from there. You know, our other partners, Joe, Bruce, and Jack, I mean, we don't know what to say, right? I think the numbers say, the odds say she shouldn't be doing this. And she continues to just find a way. And it's amazing to see.
Do you guys realize how lucky you are that many owners don't get into the game and don't have success like this immediately?
Yeah, my accountant told me the first time I told him to wire some money out to the stable. Yeah, it's not supposed to happen. And it really is, it's amazing to see. It's great to be a part of this whole ride. So we're enjoying it.
Back-to-back stakes victories for her. I mean, against open company. She's New York bred at the end of the day, too. Right. Linda was saying she plans on having a big year with her yet again as a 5-year-old. Have you kind of mapped out any kind of plan for her?
Yeah, through Linda, you know, we're looking at a few things. I think a few more stakes races are in the running, a few grade 3s. Let's see how Linda is the quarterback of this thing from that aspect. So let's see what happens. But excited to see what's going to happen here in the coming months.
Jerson, massive congratulations to you and your team. From a fan's perspective, she's been a joy to watch on the track.
Thank you. Thank you.
Betsy Blue, she does not disappoint yet again. 10 career victories with this Interboro win, Greg.
She won almost $380,000 last year, and they're expecting bigger and better things this year.
Well, that would be nice for them. She'd be over $1 million because she's at $600,000 coming into it. And I think she's a horse, considering we mentioned the Barbara Fritchie coming up in just over a month, or almost exactly a month, I should say. She fits Laurel very well. A lot of times the rail's not the best place to be at Laurel, so with her running style, making that move in the middle of the racetrack, she'd fit that track well, and I think Linda should go there. I think it would be great, and hopefully she'll go there and come back 6 weeks later, run the distaff. I'll be rooting for her. I root for the New York Reds, the home team.
A really fun story to watch, just her emerge that 4-year-old campaign and now continuing as a 5-year-old. Take a look at the Pick 5 follow along. 1 to 5 favorite part of it. Oh Trouble, Hoo That's Me, pretty logical as well. Could you get Grump's Little Tots in there and erase the nightcap look? What do you think? Was it 2 horses or was it more than that?
I made a small pick 4 that's now, well, I lost in the first leg. I needed the second horse. And I used mostly, I try to beat the 1, I used the 7, but I threw in the 8, 9, 10. The 10 is an interesting horse to talk about, and we'll talk more about it. I don't know if we're going to break or not, but the 10 is an interesting horse. Horse has a tremendous pedigree. And I know a lot of people will look at the fact that Romero Mirage is riding light the way. She's a $1.5 million winner in By the Moon. But keep something in mind. I would think that Manny Franco is going to ride this horse. He rides a lot of these horses for Michelle Nevin. I wonder with his suspension if she was sort of scrambling to get a rider. Not to say he's going to win, but does have a big pedigree.
Mercante out of Caressing as well for Bill Mott. This is going to be her 3rd try, though. His 3rd try, excuse me. Gunrunner out of Caressing.
But the 1 ran huge last time. I mean, I don't have any great illusions. The
Slip Mahoney deserves to be very short price favorite, and it is for Brad Cox. Dylan Davis will be aboard. Back to the American Beauty at Oaklawn. Hot and sultry. Had to fend off I'm the Boss of Me, but winds up getting a 3rd win of her career.
Yep. Congrats to Norm Cassie and the Levelands as well, getting the win. Nice race. Good performance.
Let's go to Paul for more.
With winning trainer here, Norm Cassie, hot and sultry, gets the American Beauty done here. You know, Norm, I was talking to you last time, and we were talking about this horse. Had missed a little bit of training and ran a dynamite race to Uguri, who's a nice filly in his own right. Explain to everybody what was going on in Churchill Downs.
Well, they had a quarantine there, and we got stuck there probably 10 more days than we would have liked to. We got down here. We got to work a couple times here, and then Christmas week happened, and the weather was bad, and we missed another work. So going into the race, we knew she was short, and Uguri's a very nice horse, so we're not going to take anything away from her. But Hot and Sultry's a pretty talented racehorse.
Well, I mean, when you look at a race like she had last time, what does that equate to you in works-wise?
Oh, I mean, I think they get a ton out of a race, and I've actually kind of, as I've gotten older and more mature, I like to laugh about it. But I've kind of changed the way that I do things a little bit. We're not so much breeze until they're ready. Sometimes you just got to run them. If you get beat, you get beat, and then you go on and you win a race like today. This family is loaded with a lot of runners, Norm. Next stop, maybe try to get a stakes place or somewhere there? You know, the thing that we came down here with the intentions of possibly getting her ready for the Apple Blossom, because the way that she trains suggests to me that she's a much better route horse. So me and Alex are going to have to get together and decide what to do next, but I don't know where she'll show up next. The Apple Blossom would be unbelievable. Congratulations to Norm Cassie, who gets it done with Hot and Sultry. This is a filly on the rise.
That was a big performance. Well done, Norm Cassie. American Beauty winner, Hot and Sultry.
Just excited to hear that Norm's finally maturing. Learn something new on America's Day at the Races every day.
Took long enough, Norm.
Yeah, right, Norm.
Finale coming up at Aqueduct. Going to close things out in New York with a 1-turn mile. Maiden special weight. That was Slip Mahoney. Mahoney at even money. Brad Cox.
This season at Oaklawn, we've got more of everything. More of the top thoroughbreds in the world. More days of live racing. And the largest purses in our history. All at a completely reimagined Oaklawn. Come be a part of this historic season at Arkansas's only casino resort.
RaceLens is the most in-depth product in horse racing, with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. RaceLens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
Sire Sensation Gunrunner is the sire of 6 first crop Grade 1 winners.
God-eyed, and he's going to win the hopeful Red Zulu wins the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, and Cyberknife has There's one that has the
Society is gonna win the cotillion and Tampa. They win the Bathurst, Pennsylvania Derby.
Early voting comes inside and wins it. He wins the Preakness.
Horse of the Year, Gun Runner, standing at 3 Chimneys.
Now more than ever, it's time to get with the program. When shopping for your next race prospect, consider that New York breds start with an advantage. Our New York breds run for serious green. At Saratoga Race Meet, New York bred maidens run for up to $88,000. New York bred allowance horses run for up to $100,000. And New York bred owners can collect awards of up to $20,000 per horse per race. So get back with the program. Seriously.
Back with you on America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage. Nightcap in New York coming up. Late pick 4 from Oaklawn. Still ahead. You can play it all with Naira Bets. Go to nairabets.com. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. There's the favorite. Even money, Slip Mahoney. Brad Cox, Dylan Davis will the third time be the charm. In a huge effort. Start number 2 stretching out.
And lost to a favorite for Todd Pletcher. Have to imagine. I think he may be pointing to the Holy Bull down in Florida. A horse that ran a very big race, but I thought that Slip Mahoney did all the dirty work in that race, dueling the lead. He's much the horse to beat. But I'm going to hope the pace is fast enough that maybe Todd can beat him again with the 7 Croupi. But he is running out of chances a little bit, right?
Post parade coming up. And we'll start with Slip Mahoney here in a moment. Dylan Davis for Brad Cox, Gold Square, and just missed by a neck last out. As you said, did all the hard work up front.
Gold Square Cyberknife will be making his final career start next Saturday. A race they're drawing tomorrow, the Pegasus. Yeah, they'll be drawing that race tomorrow.
Here's good report. Rudy Rodriguez, Heeman Harkey.
This horse is going to have to take a step forward, though he didn't run that badly, but beaten almost over 12 lengths last time by the favorite.
Yorkshire Prince was second in the slop last start.
Improved last time, second out, but this is a much tougher bunch.
Alternate Reality, Chris Engelhardt, second-time starter, was 24-1 against Easier.
Yeah, I don't like the fieldy race he comes out of it all. They're taking a big shot here.
56 buyer in the runner-up finish. Wave Action, start number 2.
Another horse. He made a big run last time out. The second horse did come back and improve, though, out of the race, I believe. Or the third. Yeah, second horse.
It's the first-time starter for trainer Kelly Breen, Wednesday Night Lad.
Yeah, and a 10-1 is taking a little money. A Constitution has some pedigree to go longer. We'll see. Tough spot.
Alternate to the favorite for most, probably. Croupi for Todd Pletcher.
I'm hoping cutting back to the one turn, though he's had his chance at, and getting Lasix can get a horse home that a lot of people liked, but he's going to need some help up front.
Pedigree with Mercante, but this is start number 3 now for Beaumont.
Yeah, this is a very big pedigree for this horse and has a lot of ground to make up on the favorite.
Fast Boat to Sky, David Donk runner.
I thought this horse was dangerous for the very hot Dave Donk barn. 4 wins in the last week or so. Could improve and get a piece.
And then Light the Way, Michelle Nevin, you talked about. Justify, first-time starter.
There's some very good horse foals from this dam. By the Moon, won $1.5 million, won the Frizette. Another very, very good runner as well. I think this one's a little interesting, but tough spot for a firster, I'll tell you that.
Pretty shade on the favorite here, Slip Mahoney. Started out sprinting and then stretched out in the mud to a mile for Brad Cox. Dylan Davis is aboard for the first 2 starts, and as you mentioned, a good one. Tappet Trice for Todd Pletcher was the one who got by him in the end.
And this horse has run well in all of his starts. He had a very tough field first time out. The winner, I think, was a Pletcher horse, but the second horse was a very highly touted Chad Branklarovich horse. Clubhouse, who was third, came back and won here the other day and improved stretching out. There are other speeds. I have to think the number 9, Fast Boat to Sky, is going to go. We'll see how Dylan rides it. But this horse is the one to beat. The last race was very good. This horse runs back to the last race. It's going to be hard for him.
86 buyer for that victory in here, and that was stretching out to a mile off just one sprint. As you take a look at the Todd Pletcher runner, Croupi cutting back from 1 1/8 to a mile today. Let's go down to Maggie for more.
And Todd Pletcher actually won the last race that Croupi was in with another horse. And I don't think I've ever, now, not that Todd shows that much emotion when he wins races. He does have ice water running through his veins most of the times. But I've never seen him more kind of upset after a win because he felt as though Croupi should have won. And he finally broke, but he had to break from the outside going that 2 turns. And he was just kept out in the 7 path, actually taken out even wider. He jumped a tire track as he was approaching the backside that kind of put him back further than he wanted to be. Then he kind of made a middle move, and really the winner was the one to make the last winning move against the field that they were in last time. Now, I don't mind actually getting back to him. I think it's the right distance. What I like most, honestly, is the rider. I think Kendrick Carmouche aboard this horse should fit him perfectly. He does get Lasix for this 3-year-old return. And it's all about getting him out of the gate, which he showed he can do in his last start, but being even more effective at it is Kendrick. It would be nice for him to get a win before he heads up on set with you guys. As number 8, Mercante. He's one that finished behind Slip Mahoney last time out. He kind of stalked. He did take a lot of kickback that day, and he looked like he was going to kick on once in the clear, but then he really kind of flattened out a bit the last 1/8 of a mile. So wondering if the Lasix will help him. Furthermore, he just looks incredibly fit here. Another one that I think, obviously, the shortcut cheater blinkers going on last time helped him, but the distance really, truly, I think, is going to be his friend. Let's take a look at 2 first-time starters. Wednesday Night Lad is was taking some nibbles early on. It may be because there's a huge ownership group here with him today. And I jokingly said to Kelly Breen when he walked into the paddock, "Are you running a moose here?" This is a huge newly turned 3-year-old, and he's not even technically 3, as he's an April foal. As you see, he's not acting the part today. He was a little bit skittish in the paddock, feels as though mentally he might need a start. The distance is going to be his friend. He looks like he wants to run even further than this, but Kelly's horses physically are always well turned out for their debuts, and they just at least look ready. Now, the really nicely bred number 10, Light the Way, is not taking quite as much money. Not a bad-looking horse, but this guy's bred to be a sprinter, and he at least physically looks like a sprinter. Obviously, he hasn't necessarily shown the fleet-footedness that one might need to be effective first time out sprinting. I'll just take the wait and see approach this time, Greg.
23-1 on Light the Way, the Justify Triple Crown winner, son of Justify, making his debut and trying to do it at a mile. Not easy to do to win at this distance first time out.
And they usually don't have speed when they're running with a mile the first time out, But I'm just curious, and I agree with Mac. I just kind of want to see what this horse does. I'm going to try to beat, though, the favorite with Krupe, who's had a lot of chances, to be fair.
5-2 on Krupe, now the 7. This is start number 5. It's never been off the board, but
he's had his chances at some short prices.
Certainly can get him to move forward. Lasix for the first time today. Slip Mahoney, though, 4-5 from that inside post. How aggressive is Dylan Davis going to be early on out of the gate? Let's go to Chris Griffin for the Nightcap from New York.
All set. And they're off. Fast Boat to Sky breaks well. So does Mercante, is in the early mix. Light the Way up on the far outside. Krupe broke slowly, is at the back of the field. It's Fast Boat to Sky in front. Light the Way. They sort themselves out with Good Rapport is down towards the inside. And Slip Mahoney. Dylan Davis is going to hold that position here as they come out of the chute. Tight hold now on Fast Boat to Sky as they try to slow things down up front. In the mix is Slip Mahoney is at the rails now, taking second to the inside of Good Rapport. Out in the center of the racetrack, Mercante is settled in 4th. Light the Way has gotten over towards the insides and is now 5th. Wednesday Night Lad is rallying on in the Orange Silks, is about to split rivals, is about to challenge for that 4th spot. It's another 3 lengths back to Alternate Reality, dropping back Yorkshire Prince. Krupe is starting to pick up ground, is from the back end of the field, but is about to move mid-pack, and at the back of the field there is Wave Action as well. Less than 4 furlongs to go. They went 23.60 for that opening quarter mile. They went 47 and 3 for that half-mile time. Slip Mahoney is still in front. It's Slip Mahoney with a neck lead. Fast Boat to Sky right there in second. Good Rapport. Krupe from the back of the pack has made up a ton of ground, and Krupe is now within range. It's a length and a half off the lead. Mercante is to the outside of Light the Way. It's far back to the rest as they approach. A quarter mile left to go. Slip Mahoney has got the lead. Krupe and Kendrick Carmouche in full pursuit. They've had a nice trip, and they tip towards the outside to chase this leader. Here comes Krupe, who's ready to challenge Slip Mahoney as they approach a final furlong. Slip Mahoney is not done. Krupe has not run by yet. They are head and head, shoulder to shoulder here for a final furlong. It's Slip Mahoney, Krupe, Slip Mahoney and Krupe, a battle down to the finish. Krupe trying to pass. Slip Mahoney won't relent. Slip Mahoney, Krupe, Slip Mahoney, Krupe, Slip Mahoney. Slip Mahoney over Krupe, then came Good Rapport and Alternate Reality in 1 minute 38.96 seconds.
That was a horse race down the stretch. Slip Mahoney, Krupe. It looked like Krupe poised to roll right on by, but Slip Mahoney digs in.
Yeah, I mean, give Slip Mahoney the credit. He did the dirty work. He was engaged. The pace was honest. Kendrick could not have ridden Croupi any better. I guarantee this is not one where Todd Pletcher, I mean, he's frustrated, but he knows that Kendrick gave this horse an absolutely superior ride, and he just couldn't get by Slip Mahoney. He was 4-5, but he was the best horse. An exciting stretch drive, but Kendrick has nothing to hang his head about. We'll give, you know, we'll abuse him a little bit when he comes up here, but this was a fabulous ride by him. Just came up a nose short. Can't do any more than that to try to win a horse
Tremendous race. Coming up just short in defeat, but a great ride. In the end, though, it's Slip Mahoney. Brad Cox, third time the charm. Dylan Davis, and a 3-year-old son of the late great Arrogate at odds on 4-5 to close out the card at Aqueduct.
Yeah, an exciting race to close it out. It was obviously very chalky. We saw favorites winning all of the last 4 races, but that's the way it goes. But it's not going to be good for me when the favorites win. I tried Croupi, and he just had no excuse, though. I mean, this was you can't ride a horse better than Ken. I mean, I'm not saying he's coming up here. Boy, he rode that horse well.
1-7, 2-4 finish. We'll have those prices close out things in New York. Bring you the late pick 5 payoffs as well. We're going to get to the 7th at Oaklawn. Late pick 4 is next when we come back, and eventually Kendrick stepping up to join us on set also. We'll be back after a break.
Eclipse champion Blame, standing at Claiborne Farm.
The 7th at Oaklawn coming up next here on America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. 6 furlong sprint here in race 7. $20,000 claiming race. It is for horses who have not won 3 lifetime. And the favorite, that's the 10 right now, Totalizer, Robertino Diodoro, second off the claim. Paula, your thoughts on the favorite?
Well, I thought this race was very interesting to the point where, you know, the 2 horses that got scratched out of here took a ton of pace out of this race. Now, you know, Diodoro with 2 runners in here. The 2 Red Label got left in the gate last time, but that horse has enough speed maybe to get to the front end. But when you look at some others in here, I just don't know. You know, the 8 Wesleyan is very fast, but is this race, you know, too high of a class for somebody like him? But, you know, Red Label is the kind of horse that could be laying in a very, very good spot, chasing a horse, you know, at a big price. I also think the 11 is taking money because that grapnel, because if the 2 doesn't break, is grapnel the fast of the fast in here, the quick of the quick, the 11. So when you look at the Diodoro runners, the 2 and the 10, this is the move that Diodoro's kind of succeeded with, claiming these horses for a little higher price. ran this horse a tiny bit over his head, obviously. Now drops back to 20, and it just makes the 10 completely dangerous in here. But I kind of prefer the 2 a little bit more of the Interboro runners. Now, the 4 are Doc, taking a lot of money, and I don't get it. I just, with not a lot of pace in here, there's going to be some other closers in here, and he's going to be way far back. So I have the 2 Interboro runners in here because he's just hot as a pistol. But I do think that somebody like the 11, if able to clear, if the 2 does not break, it leaves this race open for somebody like the 11 or, somebody, I don't think the 8 can win the race, but it leaves somebody like the 11 wide open. So the 2 needs to keep company so the 10 can come from off the pace. Then again, if the 2 gets away, the 2 can win this race as well. So I'm 2-10 here, guys.
Interboro Exacta for Paulie in here. I thought Belfast Boy, the 9, was interesting, and Paulie mentioned Grapnel, the 11. The 11's at 9-2. That one moving to a new barn, but another intriguing runner on the outside.
I preferred the 10, the favorite totalizer here, but I thought the 11 and 4 were the other horses in here. No R-Doc for you? Cutting back? I love a turn back.
Well, yeah, no.
No? Okay, that's fine.
This race, I thought there were a few. We're going to look at Grapnel. This was last time out, January 7th. It was at Oaklawn. 8-1 in here. This was when he was with Ron Moquette. He got claimed out of this race.
Right. Gabriel Saez is supposed to send this horse. You're not supposed to let the 2 get in your way. Now, I think that maybe you'll see Mojica be aggressive because it'll help the other Interboro horse. So I think that's a potential thorn in his side, and that's going to help not only the 10, but I think it's going to help the 4 as well, our Doc.
Back to our Doc. Just left our screen, that 4 in the background. He did go 7 furlongs once and ran pretty good. Never been 6 furlongs, though. Mainly has gone longer in his career. Gio Ponte.
Wow.
Our Doc.
I love Gio Ponte.
And
not a lot of Gio Pontes around there. Right?
There's the 9, Belfast Boy. But, yeah, Totalizer, I'm in agreement with you. Of the Interboro runners, the 2 and the 10, I thought the 10 was the one to beat. And the one to beat overall in this field. Let's go to Vic Stauffer, race 7, start of the pick 4.
Title Shot. Totalizer. Last to load is Grapnel. They're off. Good start for Wesleyan and Poulterer. Red Label is close up. Grapnel's in the center. Then comes R. Doc, followed by Totalizer and Belfast Boy. Next, it's Spark, and at the back of the pack is Title Shot. Up the backstretch with Red Label to make the lead. He's now a length in front of Wesleyan and Poulterer, together second and third. Grapnel is fourth, and about 4 from the front. He's 2.5 in front of Totalizer. Then comes Title Shot and Belfast Boy. 5 back to the trailer Spark as they run around the far turn. Red Label in charge. It is Red Label, the leader by 1.5 lengths from Wesleyan in second. Grapnel and Poulterer third and fourth, but now they're 3.5 from the front running Red Label. Totalizer has 6 to make up to catch his stablemate. Then R. Doc, top of the stretch, Red Label leads. Wesleyan is 2.5 back in second. Then to the outside end, Grapnel. Charging in the center of the racetrack is Totalizer. Red Label still in front. Red Label, Grapnel. Totalizer is on the move. From the back of the pack, Red Label is staggering. Totalizer and Grapnel trying to get him. Red Label, Totalizer, Title Shot late. Totalizer, Grapnel, Title Shot, Totalizer. Totalizer held off Title Shot and Grapnel. Red Label faded to fourth.
Well, for a while, it looked like it was going to be Red Label for Interboro. In the end, it's Totalizer for Interboro.
Yeah, he grounded out in the outside and got it done. I wonder if they're staggering a little bit of number 4 between horses. R. Doc, he sort of spun his wheels, but out in the clear, Totalizer got it done. It felt like Interboro might run 1-2 at this point, but Title Shot off the claim.
Yeah, for Todd Jordan, horse coming off a win. For 10 non-winners of 2, runs a big one.
Wow, they made the 2 favorite by post time. Surprised.
17-1 on your runner-up. Yeah, surprised Totalizer not your favorite on the board.
Yeah.
He gets the win. That's the 3rd win of his career. Both these Interboro second off the claim. They both ran very good. Totalizer a little better. Christian Torres notches another victory.
Pace got a little hard on them late in the late stages, right?
5-2 on your winner. Slip Mahoney, 2-win day for Dylan Davis. This Brad Cox, 3-year-old son of Arrogate, wins third time out to break his maiden.
Yeah, and ran well. You have to be careful when favorites winning all the races and you feel like the biases, but it feels like the rail was very good today. Now, you're going to say, well, that helped Slip Mahoney. Maybe it helped him there. They drift a little off the inside, actually. But don't forget, Kendrick was on the rail with Krupe, so he spent a lot of time inside as well. So in reality, I think they both benefited from the rail in here. And listen, Krupe did everything but win the race, but Slip Mahoney was very game.
So maiden breaker start number 3. Brad Cox, of course, he's going to have a couple on the Derby Trail later today at Fairgrounds, that Grade 3 Lecomte with Tappan's Conquest and probably the horse to beat in there, Instant Coffee, who was the Kentucky Jockey Club winner.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what he does. I didn't like that Kentucky Jockey Club, but to be fair, I really haven't looked over that race, so I can't. I don't know exactly. Is he running against the maiden breaker for Banished? Is that his name? Forget about me, I'm brain dead.
Okay. Sad news to report in Oldsmar, Florida today at Tampa Bay Downs. Exercise rider Daniel Quintero, just 19 years old, was an aspiring jockey, died as a result of a training accident early in the morning. The entire racetrack community expresses its condolences to his family members and friends. That was a moment of silence observed by the riding colony earlier today in honor of Quintero.
The Run Happies are hot, hot, hot with his 2-year-olds burning up the track. Recent top runners include this growing list of winners at Churchill Downs. Plus the speedy 2-year-old colt, Happy is a Choice, a 5-length maiden winner at Keeneland.
Happy is a Choice, Francisco Arrieta to win it.
Price for value and turning up the heat. Call today and book your mare to Eclipse Champion Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
Tampa Bay Downs has a rich thoroughbred horse racing history in Florida dating back to 1926. Celebrities such as Babe Ruth, Jack Dempsey, and John Ringling all attended opening day. Saturday, January 14th is Skyway Festival Day. Watch talented 3-year-olds compete in 2 $125,000 stakes races, the Pasco for Colts and Geldings and the Gasparilla for Fillies. Featuring full fields, great turf track racing, and a 15% takeout on RPIC 5, Tampa Bay Downs has live racing every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire.
RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Back with you on America's Day at the Races. More coming up from Oaklawn. We're going to show you what happened just moments ago. 8th at Tampa. 6 furlongs, allowance optional claiming race. Let's go to Jason Beam.
They're in the gate. And the race is on. Freedom Road away a half step slow. Put the pass behind, showing good early speed. This runs for you is close up. Mikey Bananas out in decent order, but it's put the pass behind, who goes a length in front. This runs from you up from the outside. Galaxy Music and Ocean of Storms right there in that next flight, and joining them, Mikey Bananas. Now 4 of them lining up behind. Put the pass behind, and it's another 6 or 7 back to the slow starting Freedom Road, who is the trailer. Put the pass behind. Takes them toward the far turn. They got that opening quarter in 22 1/5 seconds. Put the pass behind, just over a length in front. Up from the outside, Ocean of Storms takes over second. This runs for you as third. Dropping out there was Galaxy Music, passed on the inside by Mikey Bananas. And Freedom Road has got a little closer now. It's drawn to within 6 of the lead. Put the pass behind, comes to the quarter pole. Stretching that lead out to 2 lengths now. Ocean of Storms up on the outside, down toward the rail. This runs for you. Continuing to run on as Freedom Road is drawn within 4.5. As they come to the top of the stretch, Put the pass behind, has to make another furlong. Down the far outside, Freedom Road catches the eye between horses. Ocean of Storms. Put the pass behind. Here comes Freedom Road right down the crown of the track. Freedom Road trying to overhaul. Put the pass behind. Freedom Road hits the front. Put the pass behind. Back to second. Freedom Road. Pablo Morales last to first. Second was Put the pass behind. Third ended up close between Mikey Bananas and Ocean of Storms.
Gregory Sacco Barn, this horse did not break well at all. Dead last, and it looked like his day was done. Gets up to win and passes 5-horse Greg Sacco, of course. Mind Control began with him. Hopeful. First grade 1 win of his career with that horse.
He was best. I like the 5 in here, and he had absolutely, he had no excuse whatsoever. Freedom Road was best and not run since a very strong effort, even though losing, but a strong effort down at Delaware.
2-5-6 in the 8th race, 9 on the grass. It's a mile and 16th. $16,000 starter handicap race.
They run that one already too?
Let's hope not. That'd be very quick. 3-1 on Sandy Lane Kitten in here. It was a 7-time winner on the grass.
I'm going to guess that Sandy Lane Kitten at some point in his career was owned by Ken Ramsey. He bred him. He's a kid of joy. It's incredible I figured that out. I know, it's amazing.
All right, that's still to come. We'll have that for you in a little bit. Mentioned Brad Cox, couple shots in the comp later today on the road to the Kentucky Derby, grade 3. Points on the line to get into that starting gate for this year's Derby. That's Instant Coffee. Winner of the Kentucky Jockey Club, Luis Saez, will ride. We'll have a preview when we come back.
Caraconte has potential to be a leading turf stallion in America. Caraconte proved with Spenderella that he can produce an international caliber horse that can run all over the world.
Spenderella hanging tough with the advantage to win the Appalachian.
I've been fortunate enough to train some top fillies and mares. Spenderella is right up there with the best of them.
Spenderella turns it into a procession.
I think Caraconte is a horse who has tremendous potential.
Caraconte, standing at Gainesway.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage, brought to you in part by Hillendale at Alapa. Thanks for being with us. Got more coming up from Oaklawn. Still that night from Tampa Bay Downs as well. Totalizer, Robertino Diodoro, second off the claim under Christian Torres, taking the 7th, third win of this 4-year-old's career.
Will he be over 3,100 by the time the Oaklawn meet ends? I mean, he's running horses at a lot of other tracks. It's amazing, right? He just rolling along. It feels like he's really on fire, and he's still behind Chris Hartman.
Not for long at this rate.
Yeah. Well, he's actually ahead of him, I shouldn't say. Well, he's run more horses. He's having a tremendous meet. He's winning it almost a third of the time.
Totalizer up for the victory. Wins second off the claim. Christian Torres again aboard for that win. And returns $7.60 for the victory. Title shot. That's a big effort from that horse at 17 to 1. It was coming off a win against softer company on the barn switch to Todd Jordan. Keeps him in sharp form. Mentioned the road to the Kentucky Derby, picking up in New Orleans later today. Grade 3, Lecomte, you had talked about last year, Epicenter was on this path in New Orleans, and that's kind of where he stamped himself as a major player. We'll see if Instant Coffee is that type of horse for Brad Cox later today.
I agree. Did he lose? He either lost this race or we found that super wicked pace and lost by a nose, but ran huge Epicenter. And, a lot of people will say, the preps, all the good prep is here. It's just random. It's just a question of where the good horses end up. And last year, it was very much Louisiana as well as the Wood Memorial here.
Well, Instant Coffee start number 3. Grade 2 Kentucky Jockey Club. This is an extra bonus where the Derby's going to be run. 82 buyer in a win, beating Curly Jack for our colleague Tom Amos.
Yeah, I'm on the fence with this horse. He had run very well to break his maiden in Saratoga. I believe there were 3 maiden races that day, and he ran the fastest of all 3 of them. 7
almost 15 to 1 that day.
Closing weekend. Yeah, he got up to win. He barely got up to win in there. And then he ran 4th in that very tough Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland.
With Forte.
But that's Forte and Loggins. Those are good horses. Then he got a job done there. It was not a particularly fast race. A lot of us feel that maybe Tom's horse, Who's Your Philly, ran better, winning the Philly counterpart, the Goldenrod, that day. We'll see. Always like to see Brian Lynch do well, though. So hopefully.
Yeah, you got 2 Phils in there too. Grade 3 Street Sense winner. That was in the slop at Churchill. Lot to be sorted out, but we'll see who takes that next step forward this afternoon. And that, I believe, 6:30.
6:30, they're an hour. They're an
Central
hour
time,
behind
7:30
right?
Eastern. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things about these races is it's not always about who wins them. It's just watching horses run, and the idea is to get your horse to the Derby. Get them there and improve with these races, and they're learning propositions. And you've got a lot of preps coming up this next round.
Road from Tampa, road from Oaklawn, kicking off Southwest end of this month. And as we learned last year, the Derby winners can come from anywhere.
Yeah, I think people get hung up. There have been years where Oaklawn's had great preps. Last year, they were a little bit under, but it's just going to happen. There's a lot of randomness. I think, last year I think they were hurt by the fact that Baffert knew all the incident and stuff with him. And of course, we'll have to see what happens with him because he's not likely to be eligible to run his horse in the Derby.
That horse right there, that's a full to Rushing Fall. Ben's Legacy. Start number 2. Of course, Rushing Fall was a turf champ. This is a dirt horse. Full, yeah. We'll be back. Maiden special weight next at Oaklawn.
It's 1,000 words fighting back, coming down to the finish. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, this is one stunning picture.
1,000 words just in front. 1,000 words wins the Robert B. Lewis.
Honoree P is full out now, second on the outside. And they're coming down to the line, and 1,000 words has done it.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Whatever you use to predict future stallion success, breathe slowly and gaze at the desert's first great championship race. Curlin won it. So did Street Cry, Arrogate, and now, in a time even faster than Arrogate's, Mystic Guide. The cold hard fact is, after this, he was rated the best horse in the world. Mystic Guide. New to Darley.
We take pride in what we do.
I'm an assistant trainer. Carpenter.
I'm a peace officer.
I'm a jockey.
I'm a gardener.
I'm a groom. I love what I do.
We are New York Racing.
New York Racing helps support my small business.
It's extremely important to the New York economy.
This is like a big family.
We are New York Horse Racing.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage. More coming up from Oaklawn. Going to be joined by Kendrick Carmouche in just a little bit here. This 8th from Oaklawn. Maiden special weight, 3/4 of a mile sprint ahead. And as we talked about, at least one very interesting pedigree in this race. Maybe it's not the right surface. We'll see. But Ben's Legacy, the full to turf champ Rushing Fall. 5-2 on the board, making his second start on dirt.
Yeah, that's wild. That is really wild. I mean, listen, Morley's done well, decent as a dirt sire, but he's much more effective as a turf sire, and obviously from the dam side, too. Look at this. It's a very important man showing up on the set.
Favor right now is the 10 Lark's Mischief for Steve Asmussen. He has his first timer, the 9. It's a son of Golden Lad who stands for $5,000. Horse sold for $215,000.
Yeah, it's interesting looking at the multiples like that and seeing them, and that was at a 2-year-old sale. I did not look at how the horse worked. The first foal from this dam, and the dam ran a 74 buyer. This horse must have worked very well at the 2-year-old sale.
Pennsylvania bred, 7-1. I thought that a little sneaky, maybe Kingdom one to use, and he has Santana to ride.
And why wouldn't he want this horse in those PA bred? The purses are pretty good here, too, I guess. I'm not a huge fan of the 10 Lark's Mission. He may win, but this horse has a little quit in him, doesn't he? 5.5 last time, too.
Well, he faced Bromley, who came back to win. Spurrier did not run great.
Yeah, I didn't love the last race he comes out of, to be honest. I mean, listen, I get that my people like him and he's run all right, but I don't know.
Going to be forward
is
as well.
Is the 4 getting bet at all? No, I think the 4 might have been an interesting firster, but he's not getting bet a nickel here. He's got some pedigree.
Oh, here's the one who inherits the rail with a scratch of the 1. So Todd Fincher, second-time starter, was favored in the debut at Remington.
Lost at 6-5 in his debut at Remington. This is not a horse I'm betting shipping to Oaklawn.
Beat by an Asmussen runner in that race at Remington. Here's April Fool's Andy. Punch play.
I don't even know what to say to that one. A Summerfront running here. Some turf pedigree in this race, right?
That's Mr. Mo. Dan produced 6-time winner who's a grade 3 winner on synthetic.
There's 3 or 4 foals from this dam that were pretty good, but taking no money. This is not connections I'm familiar with.
31-1. That's a first-timer by Tapiture.
I'm not familiar with the connections, but they're winning, and they shipped up from Louisiana Downs, by the way. We'll see what happens with the Tapitures. Big price.
So the first-time starter next door, Hardspun Fantasy, Tyler Bays rides.
I didn't love this horse's 2-year-old sales work. Worked 10 and a 5th at the Ocala sale. It was okay.
And
not a dirt.
Here's the full brother to Rushing Fall, the turf champ for Jimmy DeVito.
Crazy. This horse ran okay first time out. Made a nice little bit of a run.
Beat by a Brad Cox runner.
Yeah, he was shuttled, buffled back a little bit early in the running.
Nautical Star 22-1, who was by Dixie Chatter, who was a graded stakes winner on turf and synthetic.
We love the Oklahoma breds. The best Oklahoma bred of all time, the 2 best. Kip DeVille and Lady Secret.
Good call. And here's a Pennsylvania bred for the Asmussen barn. Talked about Kingdom going by. He's down to 5-1 right now. The Asmussen runner, who's the favorite, though, here, Lark's Mischief with Isaac Castillo.
Yeah. He's the speed. We'll see how if others have speed in here. He's had his chances, but I guess he's the worst to beat.
And JJ's Joker, you can make a case for this one. This is start number 3 for him. He has not yet been on a fast track.
Yeah, listen, and you could also make cases for any horses for Chris Hartman. Didn't get bet first time, took a little money last time. Would have to improve, but not that much.
They faced 2 Eagles River in the debut, who wound up being second in the stake next time out with an 82 buyer, and was third to Verifying, who's a pretty nice horse.
He ran a 97 buyer last week in winning that comeback race for him. He's a good one.
Right-hand side of your screen, 9th at Tampa, mile and a 16th on the lawn. It's a 16,000 starter handicap. And it is...
I love the long, slow walk. We should get Paulie's opinion at Oaklawn while they're walking to the gate from Oaklawn. What do you think, Greg?
All right, let's do it now. Paulie, what do you got for us here in the 8th?
I don't really got much for you. Is that good enough answer for you, Greg? I do know the 3. I would think, Andy, you got to throw $2 on, because if that horse wins at 25-1, April Fool's Andy, But I don't know if you're kind of a guy that plays with your mind or your heart, Andy. So it seems like your heart's been a lot warm of late. The 2 in here I thought was very, very logical. And, you know, when I looked at this race, I thought it was a difficult race. But I'm not going to do the dance. But bye. For Todd Fincher, you know, this horse is actually a horse that was bet down to about 8-5 that day. Ran a good race. Got left in the gate, too, as well. I don't love the rail draw right back, actually, with that gate issues. But I would think the 2 in here would be tough. You mentioned some other horses in here. You know, the 9 Kingdom, son of Golden Lad. Golden Lad was such a fast runner. And you're right, $5,000 stud fee for Golden Lad, $215,000 purchase. The horse looked tremendous on the racetrack. All Steve Asmussen horses look great. Isaac Castillo's been riding unreal, but at 5-2, you know, this horse had a clear lead first time out, and I know Bromley came back to win. That's a horse for Paulo Lobo, came back to win, I want to say, at Turfway Park, and it was at big odds that day. And if you go back and look at that race, Lark's Mischief looked like he was home, and then it just Bromley looked like he was done at the turn, and he just grinded away. And so I just think the 10 kind of just stopped. And I can't take a 2-1. And then the 11 horse on the outside, like you guys said, has never seen the dirt. I think a good prospect at 5-1. Whenever you get Chris Hartman at 5-1. But I'm going to go with Todd Fincher in the 2 in here. Hopefully the horse can break. And I thought the horse looked tremendous on the racetrack.
Wow. All right, Paula, you going with bye-bye Ray Fincher. Second time out, Remington to Oaklawn.
Paulie made a little snuck down to Remington down there in Oklahoma City. Maybe. I want to go to a Thunder game.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, they're a good team. They're actually a good
More
up and
fun when it
coming
was
team.
Durant and Westbrook.
And Harden. Incredible, right?
All right, so we're back to Tampa. Mile and 16th turf care coming up. The 5 favored. 3 for 5 on the lawn. Should be forward. Might be in front.
The pace projector, in case you're interested, the time form pace projector has Just in Time for Wine, a horse that we saw run here about 400 times, a New York bred that ran quite a bit here. But he seems to have really found himself down there, a horse that had trouble having any stamina, but he was good at Parks and he's good there.
Yeah, 5-time winner. He always seems to be in front, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got speed. He's been running. He's been in good form recently as well. This race was pretty wide open.
Jason Beam the call. Race 9, Tampa Mile 16th on the lawn. Here we go.
Ohana Empire. Jorge Gonzalez to the outside gate, ready to close out a Saturday. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Good start for Smithwick Spice in the green cap, who goes out to the early advantage. On the outside, Just in Time for Wine is just a little quicker, though. Just in Time for Wine quickly grabbing the lead as Smithwick Spice back in second. Sandy Lane, Kitten Prairie, they're together third and fourth as they come into the stretch the first time. It's a break of 2 more after that. Back to Ohana Empire, who races in fifth. They string out up front. Then comes Dreamliner in the 6th position. Fatima's Blessing is 7th. Inside of that comes Heart Attack in 8th. And it's 2 more then back to Jay Beresford, Tipton, and In It for the Love. Those two share the back. And they got to be 13 or 14 behind as Just in Time for Wine. Jose Ferrer leading it out there by 3.5 lengths. The opening quarter in 22 seconds flat. So they swing on to the back stretch. Just in Time for Wine going quickly, but leads it by 3.5. Smithwick Spice is second. Then comes Prairie. It's 3.5 more back to Sandy Lane Kitten, who's all alone in fourth. Then a space of 4 or 5. Back to Ohana Empire, who's fifth. Dreamliner right to that one's outside. After that comes Heart Attack. Fatima's Blessing in the turquoise colors is back third last. In It for the Love is out of last, and Jay Beresford Tipton now trails. 3.5 furlongs to go, 45 and 3. Very quick fractions up top here. Just in Time for Wide leads them to the fire turn a length in front. Smithwick Spice closing in now from the second spot, draws within a half a length, and is coming right up alongside of this leader. Prairie looms just in behind in third. Sandy Lane Kitten has gotten closer. Dreamliner starting to move up on the far outside. Is going to be 4 or 5 deep. From the back, trying to wind up is Fatima's Blessing, also In It for the Love. Smithwick Spice takes over. Smithwick Spice, the new leader at the top of the stretch. Prairie just in behind. Dreamliner continues to advance down the crown of the track. In It for the Love looking for room with Fatima Fatima Blessing. Smithwick Spice still the leader. Sandy Lane Kitten down toward the inside, still battling on with Dreamliner, but it's Smithwick Spice and Antonio Gallardo clear with 50 yards to go. Smithwick Spice to go on to win at 2.5. Fatima's Blessing got up for second. Sandy Lane Kitten third. Fourth looked like Dreamliner over Heart Attack.
Call this man's name a lot in Oldsmar, Florida. Antonio Gallardo for Douglas Nunn. 4 for 6 on the lawn.
Just ran extremely well, and they were flying up front just in time for wine. I mean, he backing out of the picture at this point, and they couldn't come close. This was a nice performance by this horse. Colt Diction's here.
All right, back to Hot Springs, Arkansas. 8th race coming up. 6 furlongs in this maiden special. It is still the public backing Lark's Mischief. Start number 3 for this Asmussen runner who, was it 5? It was sloppy racetrack, but it was 5.5 furlongs last time out and couldn't last.
Yeah, I just don't like the fact that this horse, I didn't love this horse's last race, to be honest. I thought the race was so-so. I guess the buyer's good enough. I understand why this is his favored, but there's a lot of unknowns in here. And I do think the 7 ran okay last time out. Maybe the 11 dry track. I bet a couple dollars on That's Mr. Mo. This is a trainer that's shipping this horse in. It's been training at Louisiana Downs. He's 27% with limited starters last year, 13 for 49. This guy knows how to find the winner's circle. Shipping this horse here to Oaklawn, I mean, doesn't mean he's going to guarantee victory, but it's a long trip and not an easy trip to go unless you felt you were live. And this horse has plenty of pedigree, so I took a small shot.
That's the 4, 15 to 1. We talked about the pedigree produced Crewman, who was a 6-time winner, including a grade 3 on synthetic.
There's turf and dirt in there. There's plenty of a very good second generation, too. This horse has the best dam side pedigree, I think, in the field. May not mean anything, but... Well, I shouldn't say that. Ben's Legacy.
For dirt.
Yeah, Ben's Legacy's got a pretty good horse in the family. I shouldn't say that. I mean, Rushing Fall, what a horse she was.
So fun to watch. I'm glad finally got her time.
Yeah. She took an awful beat in the Breeders' Cup. Right, awful beat. I mean, she ran super and lost.
2 to 1 favorite, 3rd time out, Lark's Mischief to 10, and Asmussen with that intriguing first-time start of the 9, the Pennsylvania bred. Let's go to Vic Stauffer. Here's the 8th from Oaklawn.
They're at the post. They're off. Lark's Mischief and Bye Bye Ray break well. JJ's Joker and Ben's Legacy close up. Then comes April Fool's Andy and Kingdom, followed by That's Mr. Mo, Nautical Star, Hardspun Fantasy, and Windtapper Win. Lark's Mischief up the backstretch from JJ's Joker in second. Lark's Mischief, a half length. JJ's Joker is second, the same margin to Bye Bye Ray. Then comes April Fool's Andy, and joining him is Ben's Legacy. They're about 3 from the front. 3 back to Kingdom, then a big gap back to Nautical Star, who is unwinding, passing That's Mr. Mo and Windtapper Win, and the trailer is Hardspun Fantasy, and the leader is Lark's Mischief. Lark's Mischief at the quarter pole leads JJ's Joker by 1.5 lengths. Ben's Legacy swings into action. He's in the center, 2.5 back to Kingdom. Here comes Ben's Legacy with good-looking strides in the center. Lark's Mischief still ahead. Ben's Legacy. Bye Bye Ray moves through at the rail for Christian Torres, and he's got a chance. It is Ben's Legacy or Bye Bye Ray. Ben's Legacy a half length. Bye Bye Ray is second. Ben's Legacy in front. Ben's Legacy beat Bye Bye Ray. Lark's Mischief was third, and Nautical Star rallied for fourth.
One day he may be on turf, but for now, Ben's Legacy breaks his maiden start, number 2 on dirt.
No turf at Oaklawn, $90,000 purse, not so bad. Big gallop out in 6, by the way. I just noticed that.
Andy's changing before our eyes.
Yeah, things are going on out there. But, I think the lesson from this race is Lark's Mischief is faint-hearted. He looked like he was kind of going easy, and when the real racing was done, they just swallowed him up.
So Ben's Legacy, full brother to turf champion Rushing Fall, wins on dirt here, his second start for Jimmy DeVito. Double Down Stables, David Cabrera in the irons for the victory.
Had a lot of money for this horse after this 2-year-old sale last March at OBS, and just ran well. Nice
back at Tampa, Smithwick Spice, huge effort from this horse who was sitting right off your pace setter in here, and then runs away from this group. This is a 4th win, 6 tries on the lawn.
The way he won, he would have thought he was like even money, right? mean, this horse really ran well. Wow.
Pick 6, 34,000 today?
For 20 cents.
Wow.
The real talent's showing up in a moment.
Going to take a timeout. We'll be back. Kendrick Carmouche joining us after this timeout. Looking forward to it. He's always fun. It's been a couple years since we had him on at Saratoga, hasn't it? Saratoga. Stop. We'll be back. He joined us on set next.
Grade 1 winner and track record setter Lee. Like their sire, his runners have excelled on both dirt and turf, including these standout performers.
Poppy Flower is kicking in. Poppy Flower with the momentum. Nagarok, they come on for the finish, and it is going to be Nagarok.
Out of a Galileo mare, this dual surface star has sired juvenile stakes winners on both dirt and turf. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
We are back on America's Day at the Races, our FS2 coverage. Thanks for being with us on this Saturday afternoon, 8th at Oaklawn in the books. Ben's Legacy went second time out. Got off to a poor start in that debut. Still ran a good race. The full brother to Rushing Fall, the turf champ, winning on dirt.
Yeah, ran a nice race. Horse improved. A little bit more professional second time out. And at the end of the day, I still think we're waiting to see this horse in the turf. I mean, I think the connections will exhaust, see how good he is in the dirt. Obviously, a lot of prestige running on the dirt, but we may end up seeing this horse in the turf going forward.
Double Down Stables, Jimmy DeVito, David Cabrera winning connections with his son of More Than Ready. Impressive here, start number 2. $8.40 for the win to kick off the late pick 3 at Oaklawn. And Lark's Mischief, again, it's been the same case all 3 starts. Looks like a winner, early stretch, and then fades.
He's just got a little faint-hearted.
We've been talking about this, it seems like for weeks now. We're so excited to get you back on the set. Kendrick Carmouche joining us. Great to have you here. Always good to see you.
Always good to see you, Greg, especially my man Andy,
I mean, it's nice also to have you here when you're healthy, because we couldn't get rid of you up in Saratoga when you weren't riding. Now you're riding. Thanks for coming up.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'm glad y'all brought me on the show. I love it just like y'all love it. Y'all talking horses, something that I love, and it's a part of my life. I'm just here to just have a little fun tonight.
Had one of those rides in the last race today where you leave and you feel like at least you didn't do anything wrong. You rode that horse perfectly, just couldn't get by the favorite.
Yeah, I rode 5 horses today. I thought the last 3 I could have won the last 3 races. I finished 3 seconds. I thought I gave him a perfect ride, especially to fill in a stake to try to beat Lascano. I thought if I could have get an inside trip to get away from her, I could have beat her, but she was much the best in that spot, and the last race, my horse didn't help me. He always breaks a little tardy, but, I thought I had, Dylan was on the best horse. I beat him last time with a horse, Tap It Trace for Todd Pletcher. I thought with that being done, I thought that was the best horse in the race. I followed him around there, and he still beat me, but I thought both of them ran good races.
Kendrick, that was a horse for Todd Pletcher, and what you came here 2015. You've built up your business to this point now where year in, year out, you're one of the contenders for winning a meet, on this circuit, but getting the confidence of guys in barns like the top guys, like Todd Pletcher, who's come out and been so supportive of you and giving you these opportunities. What has that meant for you?
He respects me. I respect Todd. He been riding me for probably about 10, 12 years now, and he see the hard work that I put in since I came to New York. I really do think he see that, and that I never gave up. Coming to New York it's not easy. I think I'm the only jockey in the last 10 years to stay in New York and stay competitive at this sport. But it just feel good, Todd putting you on the horse to win the race. You just got to ride it correctly.
This had to feel good. On the road to the Kentucky Derby, 72-1. Was there a point in this race where you felt like, yeah, I got a chance to win this thing? Like coming from dead last.
I left the jocks room telling my valet and my jockey Jalen Samuel.
Yeah.
Right? I told him I'm gonna just sit and make one run with this horse. Todd not gonna give me instructions. The horse was in good form. All those top 3 horses was in good form, and I think this horse caught a deep track where he could have handled it that day because that's the only time he really ran good on the deep track. And horse run great, man. It's another step in going forward in my career, and it was a good feeling. It's unbelievable.
That launched you getting to the Kentucky Derby. What did that mean for you to be in America's signature race?
I come from Louisiana, I made it. This is what I fought through every colony from small to get to Naira circuit to do, and to be a small guy coming from Parks to be in New York and winning some of these big races. I mean, I made it, man. You just got to keep it pushing now. Each step you gotta accelerate your game, get smarter. You learn something new every day in this sport.
I was so excited. I actually went to this Derby, not because you were in it, but partly because you were in it.
Yeah, thank you, Andy.
You know what I loved about Bourbonic and you winning on him? I sometimes get frustrated because people pigeonhole you as a speed rider. And you are an exceptional speed rider. But I think you look at Bourbonic and the right, you look at the race in the last race on Croupi. I think it's unfair to say that you're a speed rider because I think you're a very good rider who adapts to the horse he's riding. You're looking for horses that have speed, but any rider should be looking for that. I don't think that you're a speed rider. I think you're just a good rider.
Andy, I look at it like this, you're gonna have your critics. This is what
I'm a critic.
This is what make the game good, I'm just very good at the gate. I love position, I think most trainers want position the first quarter of a mile. This is what I do. This is what I perfect on. This is my thing. If I'm on the best horse, you can't beat me if I position my horse early. But at the same time, when I was in Parks, they got a trainer named Phil Aristone. He said, Kendrick, you might be the best rider coming from behind him I ever saw. He told me that. I was like, really? And I had the bug then. And I said, I'm going to start perfecting it a little bit more. In Parks, one thing about Parks, you got to sit and go wide. So, if you're on the lead, you got to go further than the horse that come from behind. So what you going to do? I'm going to sit and come from behind. It's going to make you better.
Man, who was known as the king of Parks. 7 riding titles. You won 4 in a row at one point. That's where you really kind of honed your craft before coming here. Who did you kind of have your eyes on, though? Because I know from a young age, I think you 16 when you won your first race. At Evangeline Downs. But who were the guys you looked up to when you knew you wanted to do this?
Man, my dad was there. He was number one, I would say coming up through the game in Louisiana, when I was growing up, they had only Laurel came on in the morning right before we went to school. And me and my brother had those jockeys that we picked. We never used to watch New York because we wasn't familiar with it. But Laurel, they had Edgar Prado, they had Mario Vergi, they had Mark Johnson, they had Larry Reynolds. I was a Mark Johnson fan. He was tall like me. Sit good on the horse. He rode for King Leatherberry when he had the bug. Went a lot of races. Scott Lake, he wrote first call for after he lost the bug. He was an excellent rider, After that, I just learned crafts off of each rider. Edgar Prado taught me a couple things. My man Stu Elliott in Parks. You know, I rode with mostly older riders when I came to Philadelphia because I was the youngest one in the jocks room. They was all in their 30s, so, you know, it really did help me move forward with my riding skills, you know, because they knew what it was at in the race.
I mean, you guys are all competing against each other, but you're helping each other out?
No, it's not that we're helping each other out, but it's a jockey. When we go to ride, it's a code. If you know, the only ones that mess up races is the ones that's 40 to 1 that's gonna go with the favorite. Right. You feel me? But other than that, you know, we got to make the race for ourselves. So if you got the horse that's 7 to 2 on the lead or whatever it is, you're gonna sit next to him. You're not gonna go press him to let somebody else win. It just don't work that way, you know. When y'all do see jockeys do things out of the ordinary, it's because they don't know how fast they're going. The trainer gave them strict instructions just to go, and they only know one way to go. You know, it'll mess up the whole dynamic of the race.
It's interesting riding here in the winter. You also rode in the Intertrack when we used to ride here, and I always was fascinated about that because the Intertrack, to me, I always assumed it was sort of the hardest track to ride around here, at least the dirt surfaces, and yet it often got the most inexperienced riders coming here, a lot of younger riders coming in, taking shots as bug riders. Was that a little tricky at times? The trickiest thing to do with the Intertrack was for me, coming from Philadelphia and smaller tracks, was moving at the half-a-mile pole. I think when I first came to New York, it was a little tricky for me. I used to let my horse run into the turn, and you can do that on the mile track at Parks because that's the 3/8 pole, but over here you got the half. So, you know, I kind of like lost 15 more races than I was supposed to when I first came to New York, but once you figure it out and you know how to handle the Intertrack, oh, it was so much fun. Even on the turf course, you know, the turf course is good. You can wire the fill on the inside. Yeah, I know. You did that in a stake race for me. I think it was the Knickerbocker, $32.
Astronaut?
No. Oh, yeah, no, but the one that was late.
Mike Maker.
Yeah, that horse made $32. That was nice.
Calls.
I can't remember. I know.
Big calls. I don't know. Something like that. Yeah.
A lot of races ago, but it was fun. No,
yeah. You know.
How about riding Belmont? Do you enjoy riding Belmont? A lot of riders really love riding Belmont.
I love Belmont. It was a little tricky. It was more trickier than Aqueduct. I got used to Aqueduct a lot. I got immune to it better, you know. Belmont was a little bit tricky for me because on smaller tracks you don't run 6 furlongs, 7 furlongs, a mile and a 16th. So on the turf course and running down the backside, you gotta change things and learn how to relax a little bit more and get your horse into a better stride at Belmont, because if you can get your horse in a good stride at Belmont, nobody can ever catch you, or you know they don't lose balance at Belmont because it's so comfort for them. You know, that's what I like about Belmont.
I want to know, you always have such a great attitude. You're always smiling. Just whenever someone sees Kendrick Carmouche, you put them in a good mood. I've never heard if you have a nickname. What do they call you in the jockeys room? What's your nickname? Do you have one?
They don't call me anything in the jocks room. You know, they not at all. I mean, everybody just happy to see me. You know, I make the jocks room everybody happy. You know, even the guys that's not doing good, I'm the guy to go pat them on the shoulder and tell them, listen, man, just keep fighting. It's going to come around, you know. It's an oval, you know. You're in the circle, so just keep fighting, you know. I'm just that guy. I love my sport. I love riding. It's not just a job for me. So this is why you never see me upset or mad. I just love it, man.
You always had that positive energy about you?
Always. I can bring you anywhere on the East Coast, any racetrack. Everybody will tell you Kendrick been the same since he first come around. You know, it's just, I enjoy what I do.
And
Getting beat up on too. I still enjoy it.
Now, do you enjoy, like Belmont's funny with the Jamaicans when they all hang out in the paddock waiting for you guys? But the thing is, it's not even a love-hate relationship. I think it's just more fun, right? I mean, they're just having fun. Listen,
Jamaicans love the sport, man. I want you to know, I never been around Jamaicans in Louisiana, but once I came to like Philadelphia and New York, I can't believe how much they love it more than me. I'm kind of jealous about it, you know, because like, God, I thought I was the one that loved it the most, you know, but nah, they live for horse racing. It's
really
the biggest thing in Jamaica, you know. I love it, you know. The guys.
We got to get them to come to Saratoga. I always tell the guys, we got to get more of them to come to Saratoga.
We need to put some microphones there so we can hear it.
Up in Saratoga.
Oh, man.
I do.
Got a quick timeout. We'll be back with the 9th from Oaklawn still to come. Spending some time here with Kendrick Carmouche, talking about his incredible career and his rise here in New York. We'll be back. We're going to see Caddo River back in action. His last race, not his best. Can he get back to some of his bigger performances from spring and summer of last year? We'll find out. For Brad Cox, stay with us.
It's a domineering display by the ultra-talented McKenzie. McKenzie in a dominant performance.
300 Honda, 300,000. 275, EDF 275,000. 75, but to get 75, 275,000. 250, I'm Ralph now, 250,000. Able to get $200,000.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
Here comes Malathaat. Here comes Clariere on the outside. They're coming to the finish, and it's going to be Clariere. Nest, much the best. She won by better than 10 lengths. Cody's Wish on the outside. Cody's Wish with the upset in the Fargo. Malathaat grabs the lead in deep stretch, and Malathaat has won the Personal Ensign Stakes.
Curlin, the classic sire.
How do you become the gold standard in racing partnerships? One partner, one horse, one victory at a time.
Flight line, 20 lengths clear.
Congratulations to all our partners who have made West Point the gold standard for the last 3 decades.
We're back on America's Day of the Races on our FS2 coverage, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing for the love of the race. Visit americasbestracing.net today, spending some time with jockey Kendrick Carmouche. Pleasure to have him here on set. We have the 9th coming up, their feature here at Oaklawn. Mile and a 16th, an allowance obstacle claiming race in Caddo River. Back in action. The problem is his comeback race off the bench was not a good one.
It wasn't good, and I worry about this horse background, Greg. I mean, he's got to have speed. He's got to go from the inside. And I know Caddo rayed a little bit last year, but you almost feel like they want to put him in the lead.
Yeah, Mike Pewich trains this one. He's been off since mid-August. Here's the 2, Go Emmy, Tyler Bays.
Going to need some hitting up front to get it done. This horse has no early speed.
Spa City, he's a 7-time winner. 14-1 right now. Nick Juarez rides.
Horse that's made the rounds at a lot of different racetracks, second off the claim for Eddie Keneally.
So here he is. He was on the Triple Crown Trail, second in the Arkansas Derby back in 2021. He had actually some very big efforts last summer. Caddo River.
No, I know. He got his act together. But I got to say, I'm very worried about that performance because he got a decent trip stalking, but he needs to be on the engine much more, I think.
This horse on dirt, decision maker, he is steady Eddie.
He is, but he's another one that also has absolutely no speed. He's probably going to be trailing early.
Former Chad Brown horse here, Mystic Knight, who had a couple of huge efforts at Aqueduct and Keeneland last year in April.
Private purchase. A horse who at his day looked like he was very promising. He just failed to put it together. Can Riley Mott turn him around?
And Trident Hit, Ron Moquette. He's been off since February of last year.
Yeah,
5-1.
Yeah, I looked up some of the layoff stats. Not too many runners for Ron Moquette, especially running routes off of distances. He'll need help up front, too.
He's got ability, though. 6-year-old return to the races for Trident Hit. Let's go to Paulie for more.
Yeah, guys, I mean, the puzzle of figuring out Caddo River here, a horse that's obviously got some back class. And, Andy brings up the worry of the last race, and so do I. I mean, Florent Giroux at the beginning of the race just was intent on rating. And now, I wonder at 90 cents on the dollar, do you want to rate a horse going 49 when this horse has gone 46 and 110 in his sleep before? So it kind of confused me the way the horse was ridden last time to be going 6 furlongs and 113 and be 3/4 of the length out of it. It boggled my mind a little bit. And I think the horse needs to be on the engine, obviously. The pick 3s are just smashed to Caddo River. So I would think the barn is expecting a better effort. But I'm in agreement with Andy. The 1 is going to give the 4 some pressure in here. So, when I look at this race, the 5 in here, Decision Maker, 3 for 3 here at Oaklawn, does run his races upside down, comes from way out of it. But if a pace meltdown develops, maybe it could happen. And, Trident Hit, kind of the same type of horse. Loves this racetrack, 2 wins, 3/3, but comes from way out of it. So obviously what happens early in this race is going to really, really going to be, I would think, the conclusion of the end of the race, how fast they go early, because then it's going to include the closes in here. And the one question I would have to ask Kendrick, great to have you on set, love your work. When you have an older horse like this in Caddo River that has back class, and you have another speed horse in here, and I know that the answer is going to be, do you just send and say, I got the back class and come catch me if you can?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be aggressive with this horse just because, he's an older horse, and you got to make sure that he's on the muscle whenever you leave there. So whenever you do get to the first turn and he switch leads, you pretty much want him to just, fall into your hands. Me personally, I would shake him out of there and make sure I make the 1 horse take back where I can control the race, because after that, it's up to him if he's going to come back to his form.
Caddo River, so 4-5, and we saw this horse, Andy, last year. He actually came back and he won off the bench, but then there was a lot of buzz about him next time out because he did win, even though he didn't get a huge figure, and he flopped.
No, he was terrible in that race behind market analysis. Really didn't run well. Now, he did get his act together as the year went on. He won those 3 races in a row, and he ran some solid figures. He ran a triple-digit buyer, getting 100. It's just hard to know. And then he ran the clunker, but he ran the Stephen Foster. So you really expect him. The funniest thing about being the Stephen Foster is the horse who won an Olympiad, he had finished second to that horse when Olympiad broke his maiden. Took a while before they had the rematch.
Wow. Yeah.
But he was bad last time. In fairness, I think when you have a horse like him, Kendrick, if you're riding a horse, and he's more of a speed type, the difference between stalking, at least sort of comfortable outside of a horse, and getting caught behind some horses instead of pace. They get uncomfortable, a lot of horses?
Yeah, they get, especially coming off the bench. Them horses want to run free. They want to be forward. The ones that really do come off the pace, they want to drop back, break good, drop back, leave them alone. That's their thing. But the ones that you need to be aggressive with, where they can feel like, okay, I'm back, you got to put them there to let them decide that on their own. You don't want to decide that for yourself as a jockey.
You said you spent a season off air to us. You were talking at Oaklawn, and I know they have a great atmosphere. What for you was, and maybe it doesn't have to be a meet that you won, but the most enjoyable time you spent at a meet riding?
It was Arkansas, because that's when I left West Virginia and Delaware, and I just took a shot to go to Arkansas, and a guy named Mike Pino gave me a couple shots on some long shots, and man, I went a couple races for him, and he was like, man, I've been in Cajun country before, but you can ride, man. You going back to Delaware? I said, yeah, I'm gonna go back to Delaware. And ever since then, it was my first trainer that ever believed in me, so it just, at a young age, it helped me. So now I went back to Parks, and that's when it really, Delaware, he really gave me first call in the barn, and I was 3rd behind Jeremy Rose and Ramon Dominguez.
He was pretty good, that Ramon Dominguez guy. He's a pretty good rider.
Hands. Call him Hands. He had hands for days.
He never got flustered.
Nah.
You never saw him get flustered in a race.
Nah. He was at the top of the list, brother.
I don't think I've ever saw him study a horse sharply in his entire riding career.
No, but more Saratoga. When he first started going to Saratoga, he did, because he had to get in and decide where he had to put himself to start overcoming the other jocks. And probably after the first year and a half, him going there, then you saw Ramon automatically. He was over the hump.
What was it like for you the first time you went to Saratoga?
First
time you rode full time there, you say?
Oh, I thrive on attention, and once I got to Saratoga, and it was just like the atmosphere, and I was like, oh man, I really love this stuff, And that was my best meet the first year I ever went. I went 18 races that meet, and bought some long shots in, and just rode some good races,
How that was 6 days a week at that point, right?
Yeah, 6 days.
How difficult was that to ride and
I like
keep your
that.
focus?
I like that now. I like that. I'd rather ride 6 days a week. Now in Saratoga, you ride, 5 days and you're off 2 days. You don't want them 2 days off as a jockey. Let's put it that way, just because why? In Saratoga, it's the hardest on our bodies because we wake up every morning 5:30. We work horses. Sometimes we got to wait till 10:30 to work a turf. Can't eat. Now you got to just maintain your body. It's just, we rather just keep going. Them 2 days just crushes because your body it goes into hibernation. It want to eat.
Set for this 9th here at Oaklawn. Caddo River, the 4. Can he bounce back for Brad Cox? Let's go to Vic Stauffer.
They're at the post. They're off. Background is set for the front from Spa City and Caddo River. Then comes Mystic Knight and Go Emmy, Decision Maker, and the early trailer is Trident Hit. Rocco Bowen puts Background off the layoff and on the engine. Background leads by 2 lengths from Spa City, a 3-wide Caddo River, and Go Emmy 4th at the rail. Then 1.5 lengths to Decision Maker. Trident Hit has moved his way to the fence. He's second to last with 6 to make up, and the trailer is Mystic Knight, and Background is the leader. Background to the backstretch, just now a neck in front of Spa City in second and a 3-wide Caddo River. Here's Caddo River for Joe Talamo within a length of the lead. Then it's 2 lengths to a lineup of 3. Go Emmy, Trident Hit between horses, and the outside Decision Maker. 5 lengths last to Mystic Knight. There's a half-mile left to run, and Background is still in front. Background, a measured half a neck in front from Spa City in second. No excuses for Caddo River. He's in perfect striking position and a length from the front running Background. 2 lengths to Decision Maker, Trident Hit, and Go Emmy. Mystic Knight has trailed throughout. Background has led throughout. Background is just ahead in front of Spa City, and now the tempo quickens at the top of the stretch. Background inside, Spa City outside. Caddo River is 3 deep. These 3 at the top of the stretch with Spa City now ahead in front. Caddo River comes with his run. Background is still battling through from the inside. Spa City a neck in front. Background tries to battle back. Caddo River tries to run down Spa City. Decision Maker is next. Spa City, Caddo River, Background back to third. Spa City, a final surge for Caddo River. Spa City, Caddo River, Spa City. Spa City beat Caddo River. Decision Maker was third and Background finished 4th.
This horse used to be, very recently, with Eric Reed of Rich Strike fame, got claimed off of him. Second off the claim win, Eddie Keneally, Spa City.
I mean, listen, he had some good races, ran some very good races for our friend Tom Amos back in the day, and the unaggressive ride by Joe Talamo on Caddo River allowed Background and Spa City to just have a very comfortable trip up front. Spa City, I mean, Caddo River, at least he kicked in a little bit late, but he just gave Spa City, in my opinion, Kendrick, I just thought he gave him too much of an advantage.
Yeah, I mean, just tough because you're going to have to do too much late and they're going to have a slow pace. Nick Warris put this horse close to the pace. You can see Eddie Keneally ran this horse one time and probably figured him out after that and wanted the horse to be a little bit closer. And horse ran a good race at Oaklawn. He got good paper in Oaklawn too. He started 3 times, run 2, got finishing the money twice. So.
And Nick's riding well down there.
Nick's
been riding well down there.
He's aggressive. He's an aggressive rider. Most of the time you can win when you go somewhere, and that's what he's doing.
Do you find Gary's got his book, but you go down there, I don't know, he's ever ridden there at all before.
No, but he's a hustler. He hustles. He know how to talk.
Gave this horse that ride.
He's
well, you also look at him, and you see going into this, and I printed these PPs, which was a few days ago. He's got 12 wins and 68 starts, but only 11 seconds and thirds, which says to me he's winning on the horses he's riding. They're supposed to get the money.
Yes.
And then maybe some that aren't.
Spa City with the win. Caddo River 3-5 in the end. First of all, 3 to 5. A little ridiculous, but comes up a little bit short. We'll see. Third off the bench is the time for him. Have these prices for you when we come back. We don't want to monopolize your time.
You're welcome to stay. It's up to you. Gotta drive. Where are you gonna drive?
We'll flip it. The break. You may see Kendrick back. If not, we enjoyed it. We'll be back right after this. Stay with us. Back with you on America's Day of the Races on our FS2 coverage. It's brought to you in part where you can play it all. Go to NyraBets.com. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Feature in the books at Oaklawn. Spa City holding off Caddo River and picking up the 8th win of the 6-year-old's career. Second off the claim win for Eddie Keneally.
Did not expect to see this horse forward. Give a lot of credit to Nick Juarez, because not only getting forward and getting that position, but also forced Caddo River, got an unaggressive ride, to be in a tougher spot wider.
Yeah, 3-4 wide, and Nick Juarez just chilling, waiting to get past the one horse, because he knows that horse is not the best horse in the race, so it was going to be a fight to the wire.
Gets it done.
Nick Juarez.
I think he's riding terrific down there. He's really
We call him Speedy Nick.
He's ridden here at times.
Speedy.
So Spa City, the victory there. We'll get to the nightcap coming up.
Should I start calling him that too?
No.
We've done features on this. We've heard how you feel about it, but when I bring it up to you, what immediately comes to mind? I say True Timber.
Just a lot of hard work, man, to get that one grade one. I mean, being on small tracks, it's not as easy because they don't run as many grade ones, and when they do run them, the big jocks ship in town, so they usually take them and win those type of races. But when I win that race, I mean, wow, man. True Timber broke his maiden, Karen McLaughlin, win the A other than on him.
I didn't realize you broke his maiden.
Yeah, and then come back 5 years later. I think he's maybe 6th the horse.
Yeah,
or
that was the
7th.
last start of his career.
Yeah, and win a grade one on him. I mean,
he's a neat, hard trying horse.
Yeah.
His whole career he was.
Whole career. He ran with the best of them, and he always was like 3rd, 4th, 5th. Not the best, but.
I love that. You knew and what all that meant.
Oh,
First grade one win.
Man, You know how that feel when you look at your name on Echo Base and you got that next to your name? That means a whole lot.
A lifetime work, too.
Every time I walk to the winner's circle in the Aqueduct, I just smile because they got it on the. They got
they got it right there. Yeah, I like that.
You know.
Yeah. Well, you win the Wood too. Same year, right?
Yeah,
Same year.
I win the Wood.
Yeah.
What? 3 weeks later? Or
No,
something?
it was in April. But still,
April.
but
Yeah,
still.
yeah.
And that's. I mean, the Wood is. It's not a Grade 1 anymore, but it's as prestigious a race as we run here at Aqueduct.
In history.
I mean, it's amazing. You look at the horses that have won that race.
And you grew up in what, Vinton, Louisiana?
I grew up till I was probably about 6 or 7 there. Then we moved to like Karen Crew, Lafayette, Brew Bridge, that area. But man, country life is good.
A lot of families down there still?
All my family in Louisiana.
Every
last one of them. They right in the mud. I'm going down for Mardi Gras. I can't wait to see my family, you know, my mom and my dad especially, you know, and my brothers and sisters. I just, you know, we all lovable, you know. They just, you know, a lot of smiles. Can't wait to eat some crawfish and some gumbo from Mom.
Your dad was in Saratoga 2-3 years ago, right?
Yeah,
I remember you were telling me he was coming up.
My dad and Mom came up.
Yeah, that's what needs to happen. Look at everything you've accomplished. Those seven titles at Parks. Won a couple here on the New York circuit. You need to have a big blowout Saratoga crawfish party.
Yeah.
Well, you cook at the thing for the TRF, right?
Yes, I do.
Retirement
I do a gumbo for the TRF. For the last 3 years, they raise a lot of money.
They get
for
a big crowd for that. It's a very popular event.
You got to get your tickets early too.
Yeah, no, I know.
They'll fight for you for that ticket. That gumbo good too. Gumbo make you go to sleep when you get home.
I brought up where you were from because did you envision when you knew you wanted to do this at an early age that you'd be in the Kentucky Derby one day? You'd be winning Derby preps. You'd be winning Grade 1s, winning New York riding titles.
I knew whenever I was following my dad, I had a shot, but I was going to have to take it to the next level. And when my mom and dad told me I got to get out of Louisiana and just go try somewhere else and bring that lovable person that you are somewhere else, they love Cajun people, and everywhere I went, it's been successful. You know, it's just to be at this point of my career, 22 years later. Man, I mean, I'm just getting better and better, man. I'm just getting better and better.
And I think it's one thing to be popular, and you are very popular, but there's no charity at the racetrack. Guys are riding you because you can ride. Make no mistake. They may like you, but they like a lot of guys. Unless you can ride, they're not going to put you on those horses. So don't sell yourself short.
Yes, I totally agree. But, you know, you just, I tell the young guys in the jocks room, whenever I see them for the last couple of weeks, they got a couple of them that wasn't doing as good that I thought should be doing good because I want to see everyone do good. You know, I'm that person, you know. I'm not a jealous person. I feel like, you know, if you work hard, you deserve to succeed in whatever sport or whatever game you're in, you know. So I just, the last 2 weeks, I went tapped 2 guys on the shoulder before I left the jocks room. Sure enough, when I left the jocks room, pick up the Equibase, they won the race right whenever I left. And they came to me today and they said, Kendrick, man, thank you, man. You made me feel good, man. I said, you know, I want you to do the same for me because don't think because I'm here and riding in 7, 8 horses and winning races, I don't have a down moment like you guys. I just don't show it, you know. So, you know, I can go back tomorrow and do it all over again. That's what you got to think of, you know. Well, God gave me another shot to go ride 3, 4 more tomorrow. So let me see what I can do to, you know, make it better.
Positive energy, it's infectious. Even just coming up here, you picked us up.
Yeah,
for the last part of the show.
We hate each other. We actually had fun. So it was good.
Kendrick, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank
Always
you,
a pleasure.
I appreciate it. Yes.
Great
Thank
to
you
see
so much,
you.
my man.
We're going to take a short time out. Been visiting with Kendrick Carmouche. We will be back. We still have the nightcap from Oaklawn.
Louisiana, baby.
Coming up. We'll be back right after this.
War Dancer. The momentum continues with recent stakes winners on turf and dirt. Dancing Buck going wire to wire in the Grade 3 Belmont Turf.
Dancing Buck has opened up on the field. It is Dancing Buck by a half dozen lengths.
And 2-year-old filly War Saichi with a wire-to-wire win in the Ladyfinger Stakes.
War Saichi asserted her authority immediately out of the starting gate, and she has not relinquished the lead.
War Dancer, the #1 third crop turf sire in North America. Proud to stand in New York.
This season at Oaklawn, we've got more of everything. More of the top thoroughbreds in the world. More days of live racing. And the largest purses in our history. All at a completely reimagined Oaklawn. Come be a part of this historic season at Arkansas's only casino resort.
The Run Happies are running, the Run Happies are selling, the Run Happies are winning. Eclipse champion Run Happy is showing a new dimension with winners on turf, dirt, and all weather. A record-breaking sprint champion, Run Happy is also showing winners at all distances, from 7 furlongs to 1.25 miles. A sire whose runners can carry his speed over all distances and all surfaces. Run Happy, price for value, and standing strong at Claiborne Farm.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
We are back at America's Day at the Races on FS2. It's brought to you in part by legendary Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. How do we top that?
We can't. We should probably leave.
Road to the Kentucky Derby at Oaklawn picks up with the Southwest Stakes at the end of the month here in January. And a look at some of the probables that are going to line up. Brad Cox, the coach, Kenny McPeak, Ron Moquette, Steve Asmussen. Some of the big names are there. Corona Bolt for Brad Cox. 2 sprints, 2 wins, including a stake. Now he's going to stretch out on the road to the Derby.
Obviously, that's the big question, stretching out. He's got a lot of speed, this horse, a horse that races for Stone Street Sables as well. Looking like a bargain. Actually, a weanling purchase for $225,000. And he's been terrific sprinting. And, listen, you stretch him out now. If it works, it's great. If it doesn't work out, you cut him back and you go towards races like the Woody Stevens and Alan Jerkins in Saratoga. But there's little doubt with his 97 buyer in the Sugar Bowl, this horse got talent. Blew this field out.
Huge figure. Yeah, to run end of your 2-year-old season. So a 3-year-old debut is going to be coming up. Bolt Doro for Brad Cox and Stone Street. Meanwhile, Jace's Road, Brad Cox as well. He's already won going a mile and a 16th. He won the Gun Runner after a no-show as the favorite in the slop in the Street Sense.
Yeah, it's hard to really know exactly what to make of this horse. Obviously a huge win here with a 90 figure, a very, very different effort, and a horse that really improved dramatically for Brad. Can he keep going? This was the day he ran basically the same time, actually 5/100 seconds slower than Banishing, I want to say, the maiden for Godolphin and Brendan Walsh earlier in the card.
Huge move forward for him. He actually won his debut as well, sprinting at Ellis.
This was a big figure step forward for him.
And then we got a couple for Kenny McPeak, Dwayne Lucas, coming out of the 6 furlong sprint renaissance at Oaklawn. The winner of that race, Frosted Departure. 3rd was Bourbon Bash.
And Two Eagles Road came back just a couple weeks later and was finished behind that good horse we were talking about for Brad Cox, whose name's escaping me right now. Who had run the Breeders' Cup.
Victory Formation?
No, the one word we were just talking about. He got a 97 buyer.
Verifying.
Verifying, thank you. And so it was no slouch, obviously stretching out from 6 furlongs. And this horse is not, Frosted Departure has not been effective going longer. And neither was Bourbon Bash. The real question of these horses is how far do they really want to go for their best races.
Yeah, Frosted Departure had a couple of opportunities going longer. Did not go well. So that is a look at the Southwest. We're going to check in with Paula Duca for more on this road to the Derby out in Hot Springs.
Yeah, Greg, you know, originally when I had talked to Mr. Pope and all the officials here at Oaklawn, they had originally thought, hey, this could be a 12 to 14 horse field. Now, right now we're about 8 or 9. They're still waiting confirmation of maybe Brad Cox, the Smarty Jones winner in Victory Formation, although Jace's Road is coming back. So that's another horse. Juan Silva has decided, or excuse me, Miguel Silva has decided to run El Tomate, who was an impressive winner first time out and has been training well over this racetrack. And the Aspen runner, I was talking to Steve about Powerful, and he's basically said 80% yeah. That this horse is probably going to go because he thought it was going to be a little bit heavier of a field than maybe it is. But we still got a little bit of time, and we'll know a little bit tomorrow, I would think, on the broadcast. So tune in to FS2 tomorrow, and I'll probably know the rest of the field, to say so. And Victory Formation, the biggest one, Greg, because I would think he'll go in as the post-time favorite.
Yeah, he's been impressive. 3 for 3, gate to wire win. That's Smarty Jones. Victory Formation for Brad Cox. Nightcap coming up, so 6 furlong sprint to close things out here in Hot Springs. Maiden special weight. And right now the favorite Into Love, Larry Jones.
Yeah, I feel like I'm trying to get myself back in order. The 6 seems okay in here. I mean, ran a big figure last time out. The winner came back for Kendrick Carmouche, did not run well, I believe, in a subsequent start, but that was a fast race.
A Dear Lady winner of that race, third stretching out yesterday, I believe, right?
Now, but Peace Cruiser, who was third, that's a Bill Mott horse that had lost here as a very heavy favorite, that had run some fast figures early.
I thought the 5 interesting here. Getting back to sprinting for Kendrick Carmouche and got a big figure in the debut sprinting.
That's who I liked. He ran so well sprinting. They took a shot and stretched out. Didn't work for her, but I liked the turn back for him. Though Kenny's numbers turning back with maidens, not great. 6 for 66, but I agree with you. I thought he was the logical one.
Got a first-time starter, the 3. The Dam produced first-out winner Arham, who had 3 wins, all 90 or better buyer speed figures.
It's a full, actually. Yeah, they're fulls. No, I agree. Now, the other full was not very good, and this is a Shadwell horse. Doesn't appear that this horse was sold at auction. Hard to know how this horse ended up.
Here's Pate, 3-year-old filly by Super Saver. It faced a very good one, Classy Bridget, last out.
This horse was okay, and I do like a good Pate.
Major player. Olivia Twist, too, in the debut. There's 3 for 3, stakes winner. Gold Crest, Steve Asmussen.
How about a Steve Asmussen first-time starter at 23 to 1? You don't see that too often.
Dam was a 7-time winner. No money. Little Dixie, the firster we were just talking about for Ron Moquette.
Yeah, now Ron's not a trainer you see winning with a lot of first-time starters, but he's having. What a meet he's having. His horses are running.
Kids Last Laugh. So Kendrick Carmouche, the one we agree on here at 3 to 1.
Yeah, no, I agree cutting back. I'll be honest with you, I prefer this horse to the 6. We'll see if by post time there, this horse is the favorite.
Here is Into Love, 5 to 2. Showed speed last start, wound up second.
Clearly has some speed, and hard to really know if there are any other horses faster early, so could be in front.
First-time starter Kirby K, huge price next door, Don Von Hemel.
Homebred, that's a half to 3 horses that couldn't outrun you and I in a horse suit, Greg.
It's your line of the day. Insensitive for Doug Anderson as Kylie Jordan.
Following up with a horse named Insensitive, appropriately.
This sire, 9-time winner in Venezuela. And we saw a horse by that same sire, Beer Chaser, earlier.
Wow. Well, you're on top of your game here. I can't even compete. I should just go home.
Chris Hartman with Divinely Bolt, the 9, went by.
That's an interesting horse because the trainer switch, same owner connections, obviously Ruiz, but I bet the Ruizes have a lot of Bolt Doros.
Yeah. And did not think you'd get 8 to 1 with Just an Angel. Steve Asmussen showed speed, debut back in June at Churchill.
It was a slow figure, Just an Angel, and that's my problem with it. This horse obviously has some pedigree. The speeds ran 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 around the track that day, so was very much running style, 5.5.
Look who was third. Towhead.
Towhead, who
came back won yesterday.
That's right. That's
82
right.
buyer, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I think the interesting horse here is Divinely Bolt.
Now we're going to take a look at Into Love. Still your favorite right now. This was start number 2, faced Hoosier Philly, the sensation for Tom Amoss in the debut. Become a graded stakes winner. Try to do a gate to wire on December 31st and came up short.
Yeah, the race came up, fairly quick. The number was solid. Timeform US liked it. So I'm not going to knock the horse. Probably the speed off of that. Obviously a major player here. The public's making the horse 2 to 1 right now.
So if those are the tactics again,
Well, you would think they would go, right?
The 10 potentially could provide pressure.
Yeah, I would think the 10 would go. It's hard for me to know if that was that fast a pace without looking at it, you know.
Yeah. So 2-1 still into love. Gabriel Saez for Larry Jones. Meanwhile, Pate. We saw Classy Bridget come back and win a stake for Chris Hartman.
It took her a while to get her act together, but she improved on that. She ran one buyer point higher in her next start.
To beat Pate last time out. And Olivia Twist, we mentioned in the debut, she was second to. That's a 3-for-3 filly who's a stakes winner for Todd Fincher.
She is a nice horse, actually. She showed up in the PPs, that horse I was looking at just the other day. I forget who. I don't like the fact that she failed at even money in her second start. It's a big gap, a bunch of horses to wire together, but obviously she's not impossible in here. Listen, I mean, I think that the merits of the horse taking money are fairly obvious. I do think the 5 and 6 are probably much more likely to win the 10 and would have to improve, but in fairness to the 10, she made her debut in June. She could easily improve 10 buyer points from that, but even if she does, she's not competitive. She's got to improve probably 20 buyer points. So if you're believing in the buyer figs, she's too slow to win this, and she's the underlay in here.
Let's go to Paulie for more on the nightcap.
Yeah, the nightcap here at Oaklawn. If you're live, there's some good pick 5 will pays in here, and I'm kind of sad, and I can hear it in your voice. As soon as Kendrick got off the set, it's just like the air came out of the set. It just shows you the personality of that man and just the brightness that he brings, even when he's just talking on air to us. It was actually really cool to have him on, and a great job by you guys and our producers to get him on and to get his perspective. Great stuff, guys. This race here, Into Love with Larry Jones, this horse first time out, bobbled at the start and didn't get really much out of the race. And then the last time out, broke like a bullet and actually took the lead, went very fast, 21 and change, and got run down, but was 4.5 lengths clear. So I can understand where they're going. The issue that you have in here, the 5, Kids Last Laugh, lost to Positano Sunset. Positano Sunset lost to a very good horse in Mischievous Gal, who actually won the Untappable over at Fairgrounds, who's been behind Hoosier Philly, the super filly there for Tom Amos. Pate on the inside. You mentioned it, Greg. Olivia Twist is 3 for 3. Classy Bridge is a nice runner for Chris Hartman. So when you look at this race, the 1 and the 5 are players in here. And I do agree the 10's a player in here. Usually the Asmussen horses, they do, improve second time out, 8-1 to 7-2. The one that's kind of confused me is that every horse that has come in here from Shelby Ruiz's barn that has gone to Chris Hartman, they have fired. This one gets Lasix for the first time, this filly, but she's not getting played on the board with a bullet drill as well. Now, I just don't know how to take it at 7-1. Usually Chris's horses get bet. The 5's the horse to beat in here at 2-1 for Kenny McPeak off that first effort, and then came back and just got, tried to go long in the second time out, now cutting back. We'll see what happens. The 1, you're getting a good price. I'm going to land on the 10. The filly by Justify. I just think this horse is going to run a big race for Steve Aston. I thought the horse looked tremendous on the racetrack as well.
There she is, Paulie. Thank you. Yeah, Justify filly for Asmussen. That's an early debut for a 2-year-old, June of last year, and she showed ability. You're not going to see big numbers that time of year.
I'm just a little hurt. I feel that Paulie was a little hard on us there.
I've never felt so insulted by a colleague.
I don't think we should be nice to Paulie anymore.
I know he's a Kendrick fan. We all are.
I'm turning on Paulie.
In the process.
It's over. Paulie and I are done. I'm turning on him.
Made us seem like
really, I'm going home tonight. I'm going to be crying in my room, really, by myself, thinking I'm just garbage here. I don't know what to say here.
Get signed up, started, play along with Naira Bets. Promo code for new members, match 200, and bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Go to nairabets.com to play along. So, wow, I'm with you. We both like the 5. That first figure was very good. The 1 made a very nice appearance. I just like the company she's kept, too. Tough post, though.
Yeah, I don't love the fact that her 1 race was here and it was a 4-horse photo with the wire. I prefer the 5 in this race. I like her cutting back. That fly is so big, it's almost a pigeon.
Being attacked here on set.
Sure, Paulie sent it. The Paulie's against us. The flies are against us. It's not right, Greg.
He talked about, here's this 10 here. So this is the one who looks like
I have a question.
Is going to pressure whoever does go to the lead if it is the 6.
I agree. I mean, maybe he's just a horse. He'll improve a lot. He hasn't run now in 7 months, so it's not inconceivably improves. But he better improve. I mean, this horse does not come out of a fast race first time out. And looking up the horses in the race, I had no reason to believe that race was any better than it looks. The speed held together. As I said, it was a true merry-go-round race. They ran 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 around the racetrack. So I'm not sold on this horse. This horse is taking some money. And the 5 has now ended up the actual favorite in this race.
I guess the sneaky horse in here that is taking money, Paulie pointed it out too.
The 9.
Yeah, Shelby Ruiz to Chris Hartman. And Chris Hartman came into, I'll just look it up again real quick here, I believe 13 for 33. 13 for 33 heading into the weekend. 39% at the meet. Just incredible. But this horse doesn't, plenty of opportunities, right? It hasn't been sort of in the stratosphere of the 5 or 6.
Right. This horse is not fast enough. And the other thing, I mean, look at the prices this horse has been. Now, for me, I look at this horse, I throw out the turf races, and last time out, stumble, lost a rider. So the only 2 races I would look at were the first 2 starts, right? Now, this horse did not do a lot of runnings. A 50 buyer in the second start, granted back in September. This horse have to improve a lot. So the question you want to ask yourself is, previously with a trainer, 5 for 65, not doing that well. Now with a trainer, his horses are running extremely well. He is a trainer that's incredibly good off the claim. Now, claims and trainer switches are different, right? Because a claim is a trainer's probably says, I want to get by that horse. But still, you're going significant barn chain on this horse. So I think he's a little bit interesting. The question is whether or not you think 7 to 1 is a good enough price. But if I was going to take a flyer with somebody, it would be him.
Be surprised if it's not the 1, 5, 6, or 10.
Okay. You really narrowed it down to the first 4 choices there, Greg. Maybe Paulie was right about us. Maybe we just suck, like Paulie said.
Vic Stauffer with a nightcap from Oaklawn.
They're at the post. They're off. Into Love and Pate both show speed and very fast, and then Pate took up as Into Love came towards her. Justin Angel takes over second from Divinely Boat, Insensitive, and Kirby K with Kid's Last Laugh. Then comes Gold Sense, and the trailer is Little Dixie. Into Love up the backstretch. She leads by 2 lengths from Justin Angel, Kirby K between horses, Pate at the rail, and Insensitive close up. Divinely Bolt will be 4 wide around the far turn, but she's only 2.5 off the lead. Kid's Last Laugh has 4 to make up. Insensitive now is 6 lengths behind the free-running Into Love. Then it's 4 back to Gold Sense and Little Dixie. The leader is Into Love. Into Love with a 4-length advantage at the top of the stretch from Pate, who recovers to move back into second. Justin Angel is outside third. 3.5 back to Pate at the rail, and they come to the final furlong with Into Love in front. Pate is running a very, very big race and trying to run down Into Love. Into Love has the lead. Pate is trying to gun her down in the final strides, and it's going to be close. Into Love reaches. Pate might have her, and she does. Here is Pate in front. Let there be no doubt who was best. Pate beat Into Love, then Divinely Bolt, and Kid's Last Laugh.
Pate, however you want to say it.
You call it Pate.
Rafael Bejarano, Clinton Stewart, and just kept coming and coming. Wound up at 7-2 in the end.
Yeah, Pate ran like pate. Smooth and tasty. Good call by you. I did not like this horse. You liked this horse a lot more than I did. I'll tell you what I learned about this race. I feel like that maiden earlier, the Asmussen horse that finished third. I don't want any part of the second place finisher Into Love. That horse looked like he was cruising in there, and Pate just simply ran him down, was the better horse. The 9 did run very well, by the way, in here. I mean, Divinely Bolt was in a full-out drive with 3/8 to go in here, wide in there, was finishing at the end. I wouldn't be surprised to see him stretch out the next time he runs.
Further flattering stakes winner Classy Bridget for Chris Hartman, who beat this filly last time out.
Do you think she was Pate or Pate last time?
Now I'm unsure of the pronunciation. That was a big effort, though. And Vic picked it up pretty early. Huge stretch run from her.
Yep. And no excuse for Into Love. I mean, Into Love came in the stretch, just looked like charging down the lane. I thought they were going to win for fun.
We're used to seeing big stretch drives from our Interboro winner from earlier today, Betsy Blue. In career form right now as a 5-year-old mare, she's like a fine wine. 10 for 21 now overall for Linda Rice.
And I think when you add in the fact that this was a track that seemed to be extremely kind to inside speed throughout the day, it really makes this performance a lot better. It was also a very moderate pace, and she made that middle move to get position, kind of drop back, maybe it sped up a little on her, and to make this outside run. So I think it's a race some will look at. I think it's got a figure in the mid to high 80s. I know that Maiden got a 96 earlier today. And we'll look and think, she didn't run that well. I think this is a much better race than it looks. And I expect her to run extremely well, whether Linda takes her down to Maryland or not for her next start.
And she wasn't really all out to do this.
Yeah, I think he had some confidence. I mean, he's riding her, to be fair, but I just think she was a bit against it. And you even heard it from Kendrick, who said, he did the right things to the second place finish. It was a length, but it really wasn't.
Yeah.
It just wasn't that close.
4 wins, last 6 starts, Betsy Blue. Connections, we talked about it when we were leading up to this race, have much bigger aspirations for her down the line. Barbara Fritchie, grade 3, Maryland, grade 3 distaff at Aqueduct. That would be April?
Listen, you take steps, and it's time for her to try graded stakes company, to be honest. I mean, she has shown that she belongs, and those things could really make her valuable. She's already, as you say, won $650,000 already in her career.
Tomorrow, 2:30 Eastern start time, FS2. We hope to see you then. Betsy Blue, we can't get enough. Does it again, back-to-back stakes wins. 10 for 21 overall, 8 for 12 at Aqueduct. Jose Lizcano had a 3-win day, teaming up with Linda Rice there. Cloud9 stable, and hot and sultry in the American Beauty. Stepping up, well done by Norm Cassie. Lightly raced filly, taking a big move forward. She was impressive with David Cabrera. We will see you tomorrow, 2:30 Eastern start time.